Sports on Fox Sports 1 is presented by Budweiser. They are ready to go here in Los Angeles, and why not? What a game one we have for you tonight. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. The guys are coming right up. Harold's over here, Tom's over here, but right now we'll talk about this pitching matchup as we bring you this postseason baseball action for the first time on Fox Sports 1. A treat to do that. My gosh, this pitching matchup is as good as it can possibly get. We'll start with you. 41 wins between these two guys. The crowd's set. I can't wait for this thing to start.
I know, Joe, you said you woke up thinking about this matchup. How about a 45-year wait? That's how long it's been since we've seen a postseason game, two 20-game winners with ERAs this low. And oh, by the way, they're not just good, they're red hot. Both of them undefeated in the month of September. Two of the best curveballs you will see in all of baseball. You got Kershaw, probably the Cy Young winner for the third time. Wainwright, probably the top three for the fourth time. He's the Marichal to Kershaw's Koufax. Do you need any more than that?
Well, I guess we're going to need some hits. I mean, after listening to all that, Harold Reynolds, we're going to have nothing going into the 10th inning. Anybody going to get any hits tonight?
Well, I tell you what, there's a couple guys that might. You better have a game plan together. And let's talk about both teams. Let's start with Matt Kemp. One of the guys I think may have a big night. Look at the September he had, and Tom talked about the pitchers being hot. He has been hot. One of the big moves the Dodgers did, moving him to right field. He's taken off offensively. Look at the home runs and RBIs. On the other side with the Cardinals, you have to have a game plan when you face a guy like Clayton Kershaw. Be aggressive. Now listen, 40% of the time he's pitched this year, first pitch, hitters were swinging at the first pitch 40% of the time. That's a high since 1997 when John Smoltz was pitching. But you got to be aggressive. You got to try something. I think the Cardinals have a pretty good recipe. They beat him twice last year in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any more simple than this right here. It's the Cardinals and Wainwright and the Dodgers and Kershaw.
If you want trouble, you got it.
Goodbye. Got him.
And down he goes.
Towering fly ball to left field. This ball is. It is St. Louis hot in Los Angeles, California. 95 degrees. Look at that bottom line. Hottest postseason game since 1990. Field temperature over 100 degrees. Tommy Lasorda is addressing the masses here at Dodger Stadium, and yeah, here he goes. Yeah, there he is. Old number 2, cranking him up here at Dodger Stadium. Why do we show you these two guys? What's wrong with their TV? 2001 World Series. Because it's the last time two 20-game winners met in the postseason. Game 7 of that 2001 World Series. Clemens and Schiller. Today, Kershaw in his 21 meet Adam Wainwright in his 20 on this warm night in Los Angeles. So we can throw stats at you all night long, and believe me, we will, because we broadcast baseball on television. However, the beauty of what these two guys have been able to do, not just this year, but in their careers. Kershaw younger than Adam Wainwright. Well, it'll speak for itself. Kershaw getting set to go, likely the Cy Young Award winner and MVP in the National League. There, the numbers: 27 starts. He had 24 decisions and won 21 of them.
It's an incredible year, and I'm never one that said the pitcher should win the MVP. I believe he will. He's been that dominating with what he's been able to do.
Take a look at the lineup that he will face, put together by Mike Matheny in his third year as manager of the Cardinals. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta lift boss. Matt Carpenter leads off. He's at third. He had a big at-bat Game 6 last year against Kershaw. That started a rally, went on to a 9-0 win for the Cardinals as they went on to win the pennant and lost to the Red Sox in the World Series. Bridget Holiday, Peralta, Molina, Adams at first. Cosma, John Jay is in center. Adam Wainwright does the pitching and bats tonight. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. And before we watch Kershaw deal with Matt Carpenter and the Dodgers, who won the West, taking on the Cardinals, who won the Central. What do you think, Tom Verducci? Are we in for the kind of game everybody expects us to be in?
I do, and I'm curious, this first at-bat, Matt Carpenter embodies what the Cardinals do offensively. It's a very patient offensive team. And I think against Clayton Kershaw, getting deep into counts works against you. He throws 85% fastballs on the first pitch. So I would think St. Louis would go hunting for fastballs early in the count to stay away from the breaking ball, Clayton Kershaw.
There are the numbers this season for Carpenter. The average down. He had a ton of walks. 95. He's got one of the best batting eyes in all of baseball. You sit back and enjoy it. Kershaw against the Cardinals here in the top of the first. That hook.
Yeah, this is the big looping one. He's got the tight slider, and that was the big downward breaking ball.
Just missed drilling the outside corner, ball one.
This is why so many hitters have been so aggressive against Kershaw, because once you get behind, you're basically beat. Talking to Matt Carpenter before the game, I said earlier, have a game plan when you go up there, right? He went totally away from what he said he was going to do. He said, I'm swinging early. Well, better start swinging now.
He does, and he's gone one away.
That's the fastball. Typically, you'll see him go to breaking balls on 2 strikes. The four-seamer threw his by him.
I like the fact we've watched him paint now with 3 pitches. He missed one on the outside, but those balls are right on the corner. Tough to pick up.
Here's Grichuk. He's a kid. He was regarded really as the throw-in in the deal with the Angels this past offseason. The Cardinals traded David Freese, Fernando Salas for Peter Borges, and this guy. He shoots one foul down the right side, raving about Randall Grichuk, who was up and down 3 times this year, was his manager, Mike Matheny, who says you have no idea the power this kid has as he bats in the #2 spot.
I like the approach right there. Aggressive, sitting on first pitch fastball. Got it. Kershaw with 8 days of rest really looks strong.
Another swing, another foul. It's 0-2. For coverage of this game in Spanish, please tune in to Fox Deportes.
Keep in mind, guys, it's only going to get more difficult to hit as the shadows come into play. The Dodgers worked out at game time yesterday. Really about the 2nd inning, you'll see the shadows come into play and make it worse.
And it's hammered down the line and left into the corner. It is gone. Randall Grichuk puts the Cardinals on the board in the 1st inning with a home run right down the line. 1-0 St. Louis.
He was able to get a hanging breaking ball when you're thinking about swinging, and he's already being aggressive. We saw him foul for 2 balls. That's what happens when you're able to slow that fastball down. He got 2 fastballs. He ends up bringing a breaking ball in there, and he hammered it. It's the power you were talking about, Joe.
He could very well turn out to be the biggest player involved in that trade of all 4 guys. Randall Grichuk. He is young and was actually a guy that was drafted by the Angels before they took Mike Trout. In that same draft, back-to-back picks.
It's also a telling story that he's in the lineup, and Oscar Taveras is not.
And he may very well be in there tomorrow, even though a right-hander Greinke starts.
I think that earned him a chance, right?
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Holiday. Ball 1.
You saw that pitch right there from Kershaw. That, I thought for so long, was a cutter, and it's actually his slider. And he does not throw a cutter. I'm talking to A.J. Ellis earlier today. It's a fastball, slider, curveball combination.
Strike 2.
Well, here's a look at the home run. You got a breaking ball and he stayed right with it. He hung it right over the middle, and big league hitters are going to hit that. And one thing I see with Grichuk with 2 strikes, no stride. He eliminated the stride, just trying to see the ball and hit it. He's that strong, he can do that.
That is just outside.
Well, that was the curveball, and take a good look at that. It's only the 2nd home run all season off a Clayton Kershaw curveball.
Kid Grichuk all smiles with a postseason home run. Hard hit, D. Gordon, 2 out.
You got to get them early. It's, you know, we always talk about that with the great pitchers. You have to get them early before they settle in. See, the Cardinals are getting some pretty good swings right now. I'll be curious how Clayton settles down as he goes through the lineup and what you'll have to do with Wainwright when he comes out there as well.
Here's Johnny Peralta, first year of a 4-year deal, and he really came on after a tough month of April. He set a Cardinal record with his 21 home runs as a shortstop, and he hits one into the air into left center. Who wants it? Puig to his right. Inning is over. Randall Grichuk. Did you know his name before tonight? You may know it before the end of the night, before the end of this series. He gets Kershaw, puts the Cardinals up 1-0 after a half. Here's the lineup for the Dodgers, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moz. D. Gordon leads it off. Then Puig, Gonzalez, Kemp, Ramirez, Crawford in the middle. Uribe, A.J. Ellis, and Clayton Kershaw. That's the number 9 spot. What a difference D. Gordon has made. And what a different lineup for any of these Cardinal pitchers to deal with this year in the postseason as opposed to last year.
Yeah, he brings an element, even right there showing the bunt, that it's not going to be swing and miss every time up. It makes him have to run. And that is such an element you're talking about, Joe, that transformed this lineup. And now you got Crawford back in there running a little bit. Kemp's running better. Puig, obviously. So now you've got some guys that can score first and third, different things like that.
Royals have already proven this postseason how important that can be. The ability to take a base, take an extra base, steal a bag. As the count goes to 2-1.
The problem with what happens a lot of times when you have one guy in a lineup that can run, everybody waits for him to get on base. You get pitch outs, everything else. Now when you spread it out, it's very more difficult for the offense, for the defense to shut that down.
2-2.
I also think you're looking at a different Adam Wainwright on the mound last couple of years. We all know about the curveball. The cutter, to me, has been his best pitch. He's figured out to change that cutter. He'll really use it side to side against lefties. And really bore it in against right-handers with more of a tilt. I think the cutter is the one pitch that, especially in fastball counts, is his go-to pitch.
Here's a 2-2. Swing and a miss. The ball was in the dirt to put out at first, 1 away.
That's it right there. That was dirty. This ball starts off in and then just dives underneath D. Gordon's hands. A little slider off to the side. See the grip right there? Little breaking ball, just swing and miss. Yachty doing a great job of blocking it, not panicking. That's going to be fun, guys.
As the curveball, you can see great shot. The fingers really getting on the side of the baseball.
Number 2 hitter in the lineup is Yasiel Puig, who ended the year 8th best in the National League, hitting .296. Had a great first half, was an all-star, tapered off in the second half, and he'd like to make up for a rough NLCS last year against Cardinal pitching. This division series against St. Louis a year later.
Look on him, you just saw it, pound him hard in. He likes to dive into the baseball. Start him out hard in and get him out of the strike zone, soft away.
Inside corner, strike 2.
And this is one of the more curious batters I wanted to see how he was going to react this year. Because last year they ate him up with balls out of the strike zone, like Tom said. Now he's an 0-2 count. Will he stay aggressive and reach, or will he stay patient and swing strikes?
Little floater into right. That ball might drop. Late break. Base hit. Grichuk didn't see it off the bat. May not have been able to get there anyway, and it's 1-on-1 out.
I know Wainwright would like to have that pitch back. He's got Puig in an 0-2 count. And it just gives him something to hit. He left that ball, came back in on him, but it was all over the plate. I'm surprised. He may have been trying to set this up, bust in on him, and then go back out with that breaking ball.
Both of These pitchers don't really believe in a waste pitch at all. 0-2. Wainwright is a two-seamer on the hand. As you said, just didn't get it in enough on Puig. Nice job fighting off.
Well, who led Major League Baseball in RBI? Got to be Cabrera, right? No. Mike Trout. No. Adrian Gonzalez.
Ding.
116 on the year. With 27 home runs. Had a big year.
Talk a lot about having a game plan to go to the plate. I don't think anybody in baseball has a better plan when they go and they stay there and execute it as Adrian Gonzalez. He'll sit there and look for a certain pitch, and he'll sit on it until he gets 2 strikes.
A strike to even the count. Gonzalez has been a machine. 99 or more RBIs every year since 2007. And since that season, he's number 2 in baseball in driving in runs. Coming off his best year as a Dodger. Strike 2.
You know, we talked a lot about the shift this summer. And there's not a shift on Adrian Gonzalez. How many times have we seen that second baseman deep in right field, the shortstop pulled over to the other side? Because he beat the Cardinals this year, being able to take the ball the other way and drop bunts, they've taken that shift up. They'll adjust accordingly, but they've taken it off.
Struck him out. 2 down.
This was a great job by Adam Wainwright, changing locations and velocity, starting out with the ball away, showing the fastball, doubles up on it. There's the strike that he wanted. Now this is going to set up the next pitch. The inside breaking ball, hard away. Gonzalez trying to protect, is late.
And he actually got the breaking pitch. He was sitting on the curveball right there. He missed it.
I think Clayton Kershaw is a true-false question. Adam Wainwright is a multiple-choice question. He's got more weapons than Clayton Kershaw.
Here's Kemp. As we said, the National League's Player of the Month for the month of September, so he rolls into the postseason hot. Strike 1. Ken Rosenthal is with us, and if we get a chance, we'll tell you what Matt Kemp told Ken Rosenthal regarding the shadows. We had more of an overcast top of the first, a little bit sunnier here in the bottom of the first. 1 on, 2 out. Kenny, what did Kemp tell you?
Well, Joe, he stepped out of the cage during batting practice yesterday, looked at the clock and said, okay, 4:16, that's when the shadows are going to creep in. It's 4:16 right now, and it's not good. The difficulty for hitters, Adrian Gonzalez says, is picking up spin on the breaking ball. And with Wainwright and Kershaw on the mound, that could be an issue.
354 right now. That's foul. Right side, headed for the seats. Strike 2.
I'll go back to the game here in 1985 when Jack Clark hit that big home run. He told me after the game he actually delayed during the course of that at bat to let the shadow entirely cover the plate. He was kind of splitting the plate. Of course, he saw the ball well enough to hit the home run. The Dodgers NLCS that year. As you said, a little overcast now. The difficulty is when the sun is out and the ball starts in the light and then turns dark and the hitter cannot read spin.
Tell you what, the thing I'm noticing too is Adam Wainwright does a great job of shutting down the running game. And with Yadi Molina back there, we talked earlier about the Dodger speed. Puig's been sitting on first base now for about 8 pitches, 9 pitches. He's not going anywhere because they've shut that game down. That's what Molina will do back there.
No team allowed fewer stolen bases this year in the big leagues than the Cardinals. The pitchers have a lot to do with it. Ball 2, 2-2.
You would think with Adam Wainwright, as many curveballs as he throws, you got a guy like Matt Kemp, you know you want to put him away with a breaking ball. ideal for a base runner to run. But that little dimension of being able to throw over, but Yadi Molina back there changes everything.
This is how you win 6 straight Gold Glove awards. Wainwright could strike out the side. Runner goes and a foul. Puig will have to come back, and that was one aspect of Puig's game that his manager Don Mattingly talked about before the game, saying he can become a better base stealer, a better base runner in general. Talking about Puig, who just took off in that previous 2-2 pitch.
Yeah, we're watching a guy at 23 years old still developing in the big leagues and still learning the basic fundamentals of how to continue to advance his talents.
Made a lot of outs on the bases. You can see the most in the big leagues during the course of the year. Line drive, base hit into right center, and Puig will head to third. First and third, 2 out here in the first.
Well, we talked about this Dodger lineup, Joe, and how deep they are. Look at this, driving the ball the other way. Matt Kemp had some nice swings. The balls are fouled back. Look at him stay on this fastball, head down, driving the ball the other way. Beautiful stroke. And I think just the fact that you're going to move runners puts a lot more pressure on everybody, too.
Well, here's Hanley Ramirez, who was hitting the ribs in the first inning of Game 1 of last year's NLCS by Joe Kelly. Fractured a rib. He was not the same.
That's a great point, Joe. That changed that whole series, I think.
A chance here in the first. Ramirez. And he goes right inside. Rib high.
Hello, you remember this pitch from last year?
And the crowd is booing, but this is what you need to do with Ramirez. You need to pound him hard in, and once in a while, getting hit by the ball is a consequence of that. The Cardinals have no problem with that. Dodgers might.
Plus, Tom, it gets him thinking. And sometimes you got to knock a player off and get him out of his game. And I think we've gotten away from that a lot. That changed the mindset of that hitter immediately.
And look at what follows.
And there you go. He's not going out there to get that breaking ball. He's looking, you busted me in with a heater. I'm swinging at your fast. That's I'm looking fastball. Oh, my goodness, it's a curveball. But that's what happens when you're able to knock that guy off that first pitch. You think Joe Buck's the only one who remembered about him getting hit? No, Hanley remembers it, too. So he's thinking about that. I think it's a great first pitch of this series for him to see.
Now the sun pops back out. As Ramirez, who was hit twice in July in St. Louis by the Cardinals, waits. Hits it hard and right at Carpenter to end the inning. An eventful first inning. And in the end of it, in the first inning, the Dodgers strand a couple. Who's coming up? Yadier Molina first up for St. Louis in the second, up 1-0. Where will you be the next time history is made? Be there for all of the action in 2015. Go to MLB.com/season tickets to reserve your seat today. Here's Kershaw back to work. Here's Molina, strike one.
And here comes the shadows, Joe. You know, you're starting to see the shadow on Kershaw. So it's very difficult with when the pitcher's in the dark and the light is behind him. It's really starting to come in now.
Here's the 0-1. Harold, have you ever seen a pitcher, starter, reliever, anybody warm up the way Clayton Kershaw gets his arm warm before he goes to the bullpen to get loose?
No, and I was absolutely amazed at what he does with his regiment. I had heard that he throws 34 pitches when he gets to the bullpen, but it was the throws in the outfield. We'll get there after this AB. It was amazing.
Just the sheer arm strength is stunning.
Yeah.
Here's a 1-2.
Kershaw he throws line drives. You can hang your laundry on.
Yeah.
Pedro Martinez, the only other pitcher I've seen with that kind of arm strength.
2-2 pitch. Does not get the inside corner, a full count.
Tell you what, this is just, he is so close to getting strikes. This guy is around the plate, training in and out.
Here's a 3-2. Gordon to his left. One away. I don't know if people can appreciate just how far this is and how hard he's throwing it.
Well, if you just watch outfielders throw from the outfield and see what they can do when they're throwing the ball at third base or they're throwing the ball home. When he throws this ball on the line, he started off in left center field, backed up to about deep left center, and then he went to deep center field, and he is throwing a frozen rope across the field.
Poor A.J. Ellis needed a cutoff man to get the ball back to him.
Here's one that gets away from Kershaw after we watch it airmail him from center field. This one's airmailed to the plate.
Tell you what, you talked about the effective pitch to Henry Ramirez. Now, I know he's not trying to throw that ball at Adams' head, but it gives a thought for him as one of the only left-handers in this lineup.
Ball one strike on Matt Adams, who hit 15 home runs during the regular season, but hit only 190 against left-handed pitching. He's really the only guy that the Cardinals feel comfortable as their first baseman as he leans back for ball two.
Well, we talked about the shift earlier. Here's a good look at it. You got D. Gordon in deep right field. They brought Uribe over to center.
Missing high again, 3-1. Matt and John, thank you very much. Talking about Matt Vasgersian and John Smoltz as we welcome in a new audience. They just watched the San Francisco Giants beat the Washington Nationals in Game 1 of that division series 3-2. Here's Adams into left. Easy for Crawford, 2 out. And since you just joined us, here's what we've seen so far. This matchup between Kershaw and Wainwright. 1 out, first inning. Randall Grichuk, former farmhand for the Angels, took Kershaw out. For the only run of this game, the Dodgers threatened in the bottom of their half of the first. Stranded runners at the corners. With 2 out, nobody on. The batter will be Pete Kozma, who had only 14 games in the big leagues this year. He played the middle infield at AAA. Because he's been a postseason performer, Mike Matheny is going with him against the lefty Kershaw instead of the left-handed hitting Colton Wong here in Game 1. That's us. Glad you're with us.
He's also had some good numbers, small sample, but good numbers of any kind against Clayton Kershaw. He'll take it. How about that?
Well, I think the interesting thing when you think about Pete Kozma is he's playing second base. You know, we became accustomed to watching him at shortstop with the Cardinals for a couple seasons, and you know, it's a matter now that they have Colton Wong, the left-handed hitter. They wanted to go ahead and put Kozma in there from the right side of the plate.
Here's a 1-1. That's foul, which gives me a chance to tell you, for those of you watching us on Fox Sports 2 and MLB Network, we'll be moving to Fox Sports 1 at the end of the inning. Picking up our stuff and going to another channel. It's Fox Sports 1. So tune there for the rest of the Cardinals and Dodgers Game 1.
I'll tell you what, Pete Kozma had no chance at that last pitch. We're getting to shadows, and that ball, he literally took it out of the catcher's glove. It's getting nasty right now.
And maybe A.J. Ellis doesn't have a chance at it either.
Yeah, that was a fastball, and he knows it's coming. And the pitch before, you were talking about that slider, Harold.
Well, and here's the pitch I was just talking about, him having no chance of hitting.
Well, the reason why, again, that baseball, they lose the spin from light to dark, and the hitter needs to read spin to read breaking ball. There's no spin. It's gray.
Out in front of the plate, tough play, Ellis. Nice play, Ellis. Bottom of the second rolls in. It's postseason baseball. It's yours on Fox Sports 1. 1-0, St. Louis. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Bottom of the second, Carl Crawford first up. St. Louis on top 1-0 on a Randall Grichuk home run in the first. Off the hands Strike one on Carl Crawford, who ended up hitting .300 this season.
He really came on. You know, he got healthy, and before he went on the disabled list the second time this year, he was on a roll. It looked like he totally turned it around, but he's a difference maker on this team.
He's got 7 career postseason home runs. As he's in the hole here, 0-2.
Not wasting any time with Adam Wainwright in the shadows. Good luck with that, Joe.
Easy to call it from here. Tough to hit on ball one upstairs.
What?
Adam Wainwright.
I think the difficulty to explain it at home, you've got a light background, then all of a sudden the pitcher is standing in the dark. He goes into a windup and the ball comes in and out of the light. It's just very difficult to see.
Strikeout for out number 1. And that's strikeout number 3 for Adam Wainwright.
And that's the nastiest of the bunch. You know, when the guy throws a curveball, it goes, you can see the revolution of the ball. Here it is. Here's how you get a good look at it right here at home. As it goes from light, he's coming out of it, and then it goes dark, and now you can't pick it up, and then it comes back, and by then it's on you. While he was swinging at the fastball, you can kind of gauge where the fastball may end up when he releases it, but the breaking ball is a devastator in the dark.
One out, the batter will be Uribe. Another guy who makes this lineup that much deeper, that much better, hit .311. Already has a ring, won it as the shortstop of the White Sox back in '05.
I'll tell you how important he is. 2 days ago, Don Mattingly had a team meeting. And during that meeting, the general manager, Ned Coletti, spoke to the team. And Mattingly called on 4 players to address the team. Clayton Kershaw, Matt Kemp, Adrian Gonzalez, that's to be expected, and Juan Uribe. That's the kind of impact he has in the clubhouse, and a guy who has won a ring before.
A shot at Ned Coletti, the general manager here with the Dodgers. Did a nice job putting this team together. Filling up this big budget with good pieces. Better team here this year. That's a strike in the count, 2-1.
Well, you go back to the big trade they made with the Red Sox. And yeah, they took on a lot of money and they absorbed it. But you have to make the right choice when you go get that kind of cash. You better make the right players and the right pick.
That's the Yankees. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Uribe also won it all with the Giants in 2010. Who were on this every other year kick. They won in 2010. The Giants 2012, and they won on the road game 1 at the Nationals moments ago. Here's a 2-2. That's a base hit off the end of the bat. 3rd hit for the Dodgers tonight.
Two cutters, and then here comes the curveball. Watch Uribe stay on this. Kept his balance. Broken bat, but just had enough to serve it over shortstop.
If he'd have caught it, he had his eyes closed.
Cardinals have been pleasantly surprised with the defensive work of Johnny Peralta to go with the 21 home runs. In his first year, this 4-year deal.
Yeah, if he catches the ball, it's been virtually an out. The one thing I talked to Johnny before the game, and he said Jose Akindo's really helped him a lot, mainly with positioning, going to a new league, trying to figure out where to stand and play guys.
One on, one out. There's a big piece of this puzzle for the Dodgers, who had knee surgery earlier in the year. Had a down year with a bat. You cannot underestimate what he brings to this Dodger team behind the plate with his good pitching staff.
He's been excellent. I also think the offense has started to come on a little bit. He's a good offensive player.
Here's one up the middle. That's a base hit. Uribe will stop at second. 2 on, 1 out.
Job by Ellis, going right back up the middle, just sneaks through.
Again, attacking that fastball in the shadows is so important. You know, we may talk about it a lot, but it is legit that you have to discuss the fact that there is that shadow effect.
And now 1 one of the better hitting pitchers in the game. Clayton Kershaw will dig in. He had 11 hits during the regular season.
He's swinging the bat. You see Matt Adams is behind the runner at first base. Be careful on the show bunt and slash the ball. He was working on that yesterday at batting practice.
Ball one outside.
This is where the strategy of the National League changes the whole game. You got one out. You're going to bunt him over for D. Gordon to have an opportunity to swing, or do you want Kershaw swinging the bat?
Adams now has moved in front of the runner, expecting a bunt.
Bunt is perfect. 2 out, and the runner's up to second and third. There's not much he does that isn't dead solid perfect. Clayton Kershaw.
Just great fundamentals. I mean, he set the angle early. He knew where he wanted to go. It didn't matter where the first baseman was at. He's going to third. Seems set the angle and made sure that wherever the pitch was, fastball in, breaking ball, whatever, I'm forcing it to third, because that play at third base, the third baseman's coming. So you got a chance to get those guys moved over right there. It's an excellent bunt.
Now it's D. Gordon, who hit .433 against the Cardinals this season. Struck out his first time. Second and third, 2 out. 1-1.
You can see where Carpenter's playing too. Don't rule out the bunt, and that's what this little conversation might be about. It's not do we want to go after Puig next, but I think more mixing your combination of signs. You got a catcher at second base, and also don't forget about D. Gordon maybe dropping a bunt on it.
Wainwright has thrown 83% of his career innings with Yadier Molina behind the plate. Great working relationship. One thing you'll notice with Molina, he likes to set up very late, not to give away location. You can do that when you have such familiarity with the pitcher.
I'm really curious having the second baseman come in right there, not the shortstop, on that conversation.
Strike one.
You can see how late Yadi moved. Wainwright was almost starting his delivery. Why? You don't want to move too early. The second baseman can give away location. See if Wainwright already started his delivery. And you've worked together for so many years, so many innings. It's easier to do it.
And that's a great point, Tom, because that's why that conversation was. You got the catcher Ellis there. Instead of allowing him to tip signs, you wait till the last second.
Strike two.
He's just eating him up with that. That's the same pitch he swung and missed and struck out on. It's a late break. He throws 2 or 3 different breaks on his curveball, which some people may say is a slider or a slurve. And then he'll have the big Charlie Ford 12 to 6 delivery on the other curve.
Second and third, 2 out. Foul tip. For as good as Kershaw was in September, Adam Wainwright was the National League's pitcher of the month. Both guys went 5-0. Wainwright's ERA 1.38. 2 complete games and a shutout. Another 1-2. Blocked by Molina. 2-2.
This is the most difficult time of the day to see the pitch. The pitcher is barely in the sunlight and everything else is dark. And this is what Tom's story about Jack Clark came in so important. He waited for that shadow to cover the pitcher, so it's all one thing and you're not varying having looks. Now Wainwright's coming out of the light and D. Gordon's got to pick the ball up in the dark.
Just fought it off. up to 40 pitches already. Good bat.
This is like in spring training when guys want to work on hitting curveballs. They put the pitching machine on curveball and see pitch after pitch after pitch. Adam Wainwright right now in the role of the pitching machine, throwing nothing but curveballs. Mixed in one cutter. Pretty much know what's coming.
I like that. That's a good line.
We will have at least 8 pitches in this at bat.
And you're probably sitting at home going, well, if he knows the curveball's coming, why can't he hit it? But you just don't know that one pitch where he sneaks a fastball on you might be by you. And that's the beauty of being able to have a large arsenal.
Full count. Struck him out. The breaking ball got him, and Wainwright now is stranded 4. Drama already as we go to the 3rd inning at Dodger Stadium. Everybody to Fox Sports 1 as we move to inning number 3, game number 1. St. Louis on top of LA 1-0. First pitch of ball from Clayton Kershaw, 3rd inning underway. Dodger Stadium 1-0 St. Louis. Cardinals have only 1 base runner. He wasn't on very long. Randall Grichuk. Dodgers have stranded 4 runners on. As the count evens at a ball and a strike. John Jay is at the plate. Wainwright will follow, then Matt Carpenter. Against the 21-game winner, Clayton Kershaw. Drew Butera is kind enough to join us. He's the backup catcher to A.J. Ellis with this Dodger club. Drew, thank you, sir.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You just got back from warming up Clayton Kershaw prior to getting on the headset. How difficult is it right now to see with that sunlight in the background and the pitcher standing in the darkness?
There's some tough shadows right now. There's a little bit of glare from center field, and ball kind of goes in and out as it makes its way to home plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes. John Jay leading off. That's upstairs. A full count as we give you our in-game interview brought to you by DirecTV. And it's Drew Butera who will tell us the secrets to the success of Clayton Kershaw. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Strikeout number 2. Out number 1. You got here, Drew, last July. Have you seen him get even better in a year and a half?
You know, I didn't think it was possible, honestly, from the starts that I've watched him last year, and then as the season progressed, it amazes me. You know, every start he just keeps getting better and better. And it's almost to the point where you kind of wonder where he's going to go next.
Hey, Drew, with Adam Wainwright at the plate, my question is, what's the conversation for the guys when they're coming in off the field talking about facing Adam Wainwright?
You know, from today, it's just kind of, you know, they want to sit that cutter speed. He's got that really good curveball, and you know, the fastball's sneaky, but I feel if you kind of sit in the middle of the 2, that cutter speed, look out over the plate, you know, he's going to give you something to hit up in the zone.
Drew, you talked about the shadows, how difficult they are right now in the game.
There's the 0-1 to Wainwright. Got a good swing. Popped it up. Shallow left for Crawford. 2 out.
My question for you as a catcher is, how would that, if it would, influence your game calling?
It definitely would. You know, depending on the stuff that whoever's on the mound has. You know, if guys are having a hard time picking up a certain pitch, and usually it's spin with the shadows. As a hitter, you want to stay on a fastball, and you know, with tough visibility, it's tough picking up spin. And If guys got good command of some type of off speed, utilize that a little more and make the fastball look a little harder.
Well, this is a rematch of last year's NLCS happening this year in a 5-game division series. I would suspect, Drew, that your club comes in with a ton of confidence. There's a strike over the inside corner, because this to me is a much better, deeper Dodger team than the one that bowed out in 6 games in last year's NLCS.
Yeah, you know what? We're healthy too, and I think that's the big key. We got some guys that battled through some injuries last year during that series, and coming into this series, we're a little healthier than we were last year, and we have a little bit of some personal stuff to take care of.
Yeah.
They took care of us the last couple of years, so it's kind of our turn to give it to them.
All right, man. Drew, thanks. Have some fun.
I appreciate it.
That's Drew Butera of the Dodgers. Who's coming up? Yasiel Puig with Gonzalez and Kemp to follow 1-0. St. Louis on top.
Hey, I'm Cole Wright, and here's what we're working on for Fox Sports Live. The Royals look to remain undefeated in the postseason as they square off with the Angels in Game 2 of the ALDS. Plus, Kershaw versus Wainwright. Dodgers taking on the Cardinals as the NLDS kicks off from Chavez Ravine. Complete highlights coming your way tonight on Fox Sports Live after the game.
Fox Sports Supports is proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, a groundbreaking initiative created to accelerate innovative cancer research that gets new therapies to patients quickly in order to save lives now. For more information, visit foxsportssupports.com. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Dodgers, down 1-0, and Yasiel Puig steps out. He singled his first time up. Adrian Gonzalez and Matt Kemp will follow. Wainwright has struck out 4, stranded 4 runners, and this one is fouled right side. Strike 1 as we go back to the bottom of the second.
Well, the postseason is about minimizing the moments, and I think with 2 veteran players, we got a second and third situation with D. Gordon up. Okay, they're going to make sure we're going to throw you hooks. We're not going to give it up. I think part of this has Puig not swinging the bat. Look at him right there. Whatever you want, they throw the nasty hook. They get out of it. But that conversation was so important because it's a point in the moment in the game where you can break it open and change the momentum and everything.
Here's a 0-1 pitch. Puig takes ball 1.
It was a great breakdown. I mean, if you ever doubted the impact of Yadier Molina, you saw it right there. A veteran pitcher, Adam Wainwright, full count, tying run on third, defers to the catcher, whatever you want. And what that meant was full count. He doubled up on the curveball in the dirt. Don't forget about that. Molina knows the ball is not getting by him.
And hits Puig, and that'll open up the old can of worms. Not that it's intentional, but trying to get the inside part of the plate with a history between these 2 clubs. Now Adrian Gonzalez and Yadier Molina at home plate are getting into it. Adrian Gonzalez and Molina have to be separated by the home plate umpire.
Somebody better grab Puig and keep him out of there because he's coming at it too.
History with these 2 last year during the NLCS, earlier this year. And Matheny's trying to calm down Yadier Molina.
Adrian Gonzalez effectively said enough. It wasn't just last year in the playoffs, it was also this season. With Puig and Ramirez getting hit.
Adam Wainwright's like, let's go, guys. Come on, it's time to play ball. He just had a chance to talk to Yasiel Puig. You may bring that back so you can see it. He's just basically, Wainwright's like, look at Wainwright telling everybody, it's okay, guys, calm down. Wasn't intentional, let's play ball.
I mean, it would be hard to believe. Here's how it started when we went to the replay of the hit by pitch. Adrian Gonzalez and Yadier Molina got into it. If there's no history, and there is, if there's no history between these 2, that's a hit by pitch in a 1-0 game in the 3rd inning of Game 1 of a playoff game. It would make no sense to hit somebody right there. But because there is history, that wound is still fresh, and these guys went right at each other.
Exactly right. And it's more than the pitch to Ramirez in the postseason.
Well, right here, this is right here. Look at Wainwright and Puig. I think this calmed everything down, and it got it going because Wainwright's like, look, I'm not trying to hit you. It's all good. And then Puig patted him on the butt, and they went on down to first.
You think Mike Matheny wants to keep his catcher in the game?
Tell you what, this just changed the series. I love it. It's taking it to a whole nother height.
This is what the Cardinals do. We talked about it at the top. Pound fastballs into the power hitters of the Dodgers. And if they should happen to hit somebody, well, that's the consequence of the way they operate. Adrian Gonzalez said, we've had enough.
Well, Joe, you nailed it right off the top. This opened up a wound that was there. And that's what changes the whole series. It's okay. We watched the brush back on Hanley. If you don't hit anybody, that's one thing. Once you hit them, it opens up.
I think Don Mattingly just asked if the benches were warned. He seems satisfied, so I would say no. We'll get the official word. Last year, first at bat, NLCS first inning, and Joe Kelly hits Hanley Ramirez and fractures his rib. Ramirez was not the same the rest of the series. And then Hanley Ramirez was hit twice in one game in July earlier this year. Kershaw retaliated by hitting Matt Holliday. Later on in that ball game, Gonzalez was hit in that game as well. And it was Gonzalez who came out a moment ago, got right into the face of Yadier Molina, and now we have, as if we needed any more. And Gonzalez still talking.
There's a lot of Spanish being spoken on the field right now.
We have a lot more to this series than we had about 7 minutes ago. Strike one on Adrian Gonzalez. Cardinals last year got on Gonzalez for reacting on a ball he hit in the NLCS, saying it's Mickey Mouse stuff. And Gonzalez mocked it later by putting up mouse ears when he got to first base.
That's right.
Strike.
And I talked about the last time Adrian Gonzalez was up, how he has a game plan. And you saw him swing at the first pitch fastball this time. He struck out, he swung and fouled a curveball back in that at bat. I'm curious if he's changed his plan and said, I'm going after the fastball. They want to attack me with that. I'm swinging it.
Strike two.
What he told me is he always sits on fastballs, reacts to breaking balls. Early in his career, he sat on soft stuff in San Diego because nobody pitched to him. Here's the curveball. You will rarely see Gonzalez. He's actually on time here and misses it. You rarely see him out front with his hand, top hand coming off the bat. Still on balance. That's just a good pitch by Wainwright. One of the best off-speed hitters in all of baseball.
Right now, the guy who is the most upset is Adrian Gonzalez. We saw Puig with that moment with Wainwright. But Gonzalez is locked in this at bat after getting into the face of Yadier Molina. He's set up here to ball in 2 strikes. Right side, Adams will just go to the bag. Couldn't get a grip on it or get up, and down to second is the tying run. Puig, 1 out.
It's a nice play. We're first and third. That ball gets through because Puig is going all the way to third base. And he couldn't make the transfer. He's got to play, just couldn't get there. And good decision to go ahead and get the out.
That's a good decision there. You see he didn't have the grip. Puig did a good job running inside to take away the throwing lane.
Start calling Yachty Mighty Mouse, man. All these guys are huge. And he's probably, what, about 5'8". He's standing right there with the big boys ready to take them on.
There's Matt Kemp.
A little bit surprised that Pete Cosby second base. Breaking ball here, left it up, Kemp underneath it.
Well, it's almost a mini shift. A lot of times when you got a guy that can run like Puig, you'll sit right there and take away that thought of going to third base. And Kemp doesn't hit a lot of ground balls through that side. He'll shoot some balls to right center, but he won't shoot the grounder that way that often.
In the air to left. Back is Holiday. Kemp got it just down toward the end of the bat, 2 out. And the batter will be the aforementioned Hanley Ramirez. The runner at second, the tying run, 2 out.
A couple of breaking balls left up in this at bat. You can tell by the reaction of Matt Kemp. Thought he should have got a better piece of that.
Well, I tell you what, though, it's a great sign for the Dodgers. He's healthy. You know, he wasn't able to take that swing. That's the Matt Kemp we talked about in the open, the September he had, and how he started to swing the bat. It just lengthens this lineup and makes it even more lethal when he swings the bat like that.
Now, this is interesting right here because we've seen Wainwright attack Hanley inside. Can't change your game because of what happened a few minutes ago.
Ball 1. I'll give the home plate umpire Jerry Meals credit too for sticking his body in between Adrian Gonzalez and Yadier Molina to help make sure nothing really broke out.
Yeah, they were ready to go at it, man. Talk about UFC. See that a lot here on Fox 1. They're ready to go brawling right there. He stepped in the middle.
There's a 1-0. Ground ball, right side, base hit. Here comes Puig. This game is tied.
Well, he goes back, doubles up on the ball away that Ramirez really likes the ball in that area.
What I did not like is Pete Kozma broke to hold Puig with 2 outs. Let him steal third if he wants. You want to knock down a ball and keep it in the infield. And he was able to shoot the ball through that hole instead of playing deep with 2 outs. You let a dribbler get through and it ends up hurting.
So Puig was hit by the pitch that started the benches clearing and bullpen clearing incident. No punches thrown. Order restored. Comes around to score on the 2-out hit by Ramirez. And now Carl Crawford. Ramirez goes. No throw. Stolen base. Hanley Ramirez.
And Yadi couldn't get the transfer right there. He was ready for it, too. He actually got a great pitch. They had a good idea he might run. It's a fastball up and away. Set, transfer, ready to go. He is dead to rights, and he couldn't get it out of his glove.
Remember I said Adrian Gonzalez spoke to the team 2 days ago in a team meeting. I think he did a better job waking up the team today. A lot of energy right now in the Dodgers.
Ripped into the corner. Dodgers take the lead, 2-1.
One of the hottest hitters in baseball has been Carl Crawford. And Joe, you talked about his power in the postseason. I don't know if he turns it up a notch and says, hey, I can drive the ball, or they're going to attack me more, and he knows it. But this is another ball he hits awful hard to bounce into the seats.
Just the cutter, he didn't get inside enough to a good inside the plate hitter.
The stolen base leads directly to a run because of the ground rule double. And it's 2-1. Now Kershaw's got a 1-run lead.
And this place is jumping. Nothing like clearing the benches to get it going.
Here's your rebound. That gets away. Over to third goes Crawford. He's thinking about coming to the plate, but he won't. Molina looks a little rattled here.
Well, he's such a good catcher. He tries to pick this ball with a backhand rather than block the ball. You see it, watch it run up the glove.
He tries the backhand and then the throw. He gets back and he makes a throw, and Wainwright just kind of looked up because he knew the guy wasn't coming. Crawford with a great idea, though. A few years ago, when he was healthy and no hamstring injuries, we might have saw him go from second to home like that.
In the air to center. Jay back. To end the inning, a step in front of the track. What an inning. Intensity has been ratcheted up. Adrian Gonzalez and Yadier Molina got into it after Puig was hit. 2 runs scoring, and the Dodgers lead 2-1 after 3 in game 1. Now in this matchup of Kershaw and Wainwright, it's Clayton Kershaw 1 run up, and the guy who got him in the first inning on a breaking ball, a curveball, hitting it out of the park down the left field line is Randall Grichuk. He's first up. Matt Holliday, Johnny Peralta will follow. You have to go back to 1930 to find a Cardinal player who homered in his first postseason at bat. The kid Grichuk got him in the first inning, and it, as we set up here, may well earn him a start in game 2 against the right-hander Zach Greinke here tomorrow.
Well, every postseason there's a player or a few that jump out on the map, and this is their coming out party, so to speak. This kid can play center field. He's got a great arm. He's got tremendous range, and he's got power. He's put up big numbers in the minor leagues. Always had power and needed an opportunity.
Right-handed power is at such a premium in today's game. Cardinals may have fallen into a guy here at Grichuk. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that's a good way to put it, because the key player in that trade was Peter Borges. The Cardinals really wanted to get more athletic in the outfield.
There's a strike.
And Borges, a great fly chaser, was the key to that deal. John Mozeliak, the Cardinals GM, talked to the Angels about a few different prospects in the deal and happened to settle on Randall Grichuk.
1-2 the count. 2-2. We had a chance to visit with Mike Matheny during the last break. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh, that's okay.
Captain.
That's okay.
We'll play that interview for you after the first out, which happens right now. 1 away. Time for our in-game interview brought to you by DirecTV. We talked to Mike Matheny. First question was about the intensity being ratcheted up.
Well, I don't know if it could be any higher, but you know, we love the fact these guys have emotions, and you'd be dead not to have them out here in a situation like this, and get amplified a little bit once you get the guys hit, and you know, just trying to move on and play the game now.
Yeah, you stayed in great shape after your playing career ended. You needed all that strength to slow down Yadier Molina.
Well, just you know, he's a passionate guy, loves this game, loves the team, and you know, has a lot of pride. And when something goes like that, it's sometimes hard to rein him in, but we need to keep him in this game.
Last question, Adam Wainwright. His curveball has looked nasty here tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that before the game, and he's got it. He's going to use it, and he's used it in the bottom of the zone, and a lot of chases are having trouble picking it up, so it's something he's going to have to keep going. But you know, he's throwing a lot of pitches, so hopefully we can get a little more efficient, keep him in longer.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, guys.
He's not the only one with a good curveball, as Kershaw just showed his. Strike 1 on Matt Holliday.
Tell you what, reading between the lines, though, he's getting a little worried about Wainwright's pitch count.
1. Cardinals, I mean, any team at this point would have a rested and ready bullpen. The Cardinals really have an advantage in this series, in my opinion, with the depth and the number of ways Matheny can go out of his bullpen. That's down the right field line, out of play, strike 2.
Well, you got to figure Wainwright's at 59 pitches right here and get ready to head to the bottom of the 4th. That's quite a bit, but he's a guy that he can carry 120 pitches in the game. And you're right, though, Joe. I mean, you think about Walker in the bullpen. They've loaded with guys that they have a pretty good formula down there. One of the top pins in baseball.
He's got 3 left-handers as well. Adrian Gonzalez won't see a right-hander late in the game.
Strikeout number 2. 2 out in the 4th.
I love the fact that the curveball has come back, and you know, we got away from it for probably 10 years. It's been all about the cutter and being able to have a fastball cutter combination, or do you throw 95 to 100? With these two guys showing you the effect the curveball has and able to change a guy's eye angle. You know, a fastball slider, it's basically on the same plane, very similar. It's going to be 95 to 90. You throw a curveball in there at 74, it changes everything on the hitter.
Here's Peralta, fly to center his first time. 4 strikeouts on the night.
I think what makes Kershaw so difficult, other than pure stuff, obviously, the exact same release point on all 3 pitches. Whereas Wainwright is a guy who can change release points with all of his different pitches and will change the rhythm and timing of his delivery. 2 different approaches, obviously excellent results.
One ball, 1 strike on Johnny Peralta. Strike 2, and Kershaw could strike out the side here in the 4th inning.
Joe, this is what the great ones do. I mean, you get him a lead, the energy's high, and he comes out, strikes the first 2 guys out, and keeps that going. If you can get him out right back in the dugout and keep it going, the crowd's going nuts. This is what the great ones do. And you talk about improving, this is where he's improved.
Oh, the home plate umpire, Jerry Mills, flinched. So did Kershaw and the infielders.
I love the look on his face. He was walking off the mound on this slider. It looked like it caught plate. Look at the movement on that.
Count 2-2.
See some of the swings guys get off him. I mean, it's almost embarrassing. And we're talking about great hitters.
Peralta, the cleanup man in the Cardinal lineup here for game 1. Full count. Kershaw missed the month of April. Dodgers opened the season at the end of March in Australia against Arizona. Through 102 pitches, won that game, but then the muscle in the upper part of his back behind his left shoulder got inflamed, and he missed April. He's ready to roll now. He strikes out the side in the 4th inning. Grichuk. Then Holiday. And on a 3-2 to Peralta. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Dodgers will bat up by 1. A swinging strike to start this bottom of the 4th inning. A.J. Ellis, who singled his first time. Then it's Clayton Kershaw. Then it's D. Gordon. 2-1 Dodgers lead. 1 ball, 1 strike. We'll have a report from down on the field during this inning regarding Hanley Ramirez with Kenny Rosenthal down there. Aaron Andrews is with us tonight. Just wanted to throw that out there. Raising the roof down by the dugout. There's a strike in the count 1-2. She's on the Cardinal side. But I guess to be fair and balanced, Kenny is on the Dodgers side. He is. We go to him in a moment. 1-2 pitch is down and away. 2-2.
A.J. Ellis, really the perfect number 8 hitter in the National League. Pitcher behind him, he will grind out at bats. Takes a lot of pitches, a tough put away. He's
2 for 2. Leadoff man is on, and here is Kenny Rosenthal. What did you spot down there by the dugout?
Joe, after Hanley Ramirez stole second and scored the run, he was grimacing in the dugout. Talked with trainer Stan Conti. He went down with Hanley underneath. Conti talked to Mattingly, alerted him there might be an issue. Obviously, Hanley's still in the game, but even after the last inning, he went down underneath just to get checked out again.
He's a free agent to be. When he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the game, and the Dodgers are that much better. He has a tough time staying healthy. Now out on the bench. Here's Kershaw to punt. And it'll check up. Effective. Down to second, Ellis, 1 out.
Well, that's a great read by A.J. Ellis. You know, it is so difficult when the ball's popped in the air. You're supposed to freeze. He basically said, we'll take the double play if they catch it. I mean, he got lucky, to be totally honest with you. Watch this ball. Once it's popped up, your first instinct, you got to freeze as a base runner. But by the time Wainwright fields this, look at where Ellis is at. He's already halfway down the baseline. He got no man's land side, may as well continue.
So Kershaw's 2 for 2 on bunts. Sacrifice in the second, a sacrifice here in the 4th inning, and the batter will be D. Gordon. Good at bat last time up for D, but a strikeout. He's 0 for 2. Strike 1.
Going back to that stolen base by Hanley Ramirez, so many things were happening quickly that inning. Really want to emphasize that's a money bag in my book. Running with the first pitch with 2 outs. Get yourself in scoring position early in the at-bat for Carl Crawford.
Crawford delivered him with a 2-out RBI double. That's outside. D. Gordon first came to the big leagues in 2011 and really tried to settle in 2012, hit 228. Last year hit 234. They didn't know what they had in D. Gordon, who was taking over second base. At the top of their lineup, he has more steals this year than the Cardinals have as a team. 64. Left side, tough play. Carpenter throws. He got it. 2 out.
Nice play by Matt Carpenter against the guy who leads the major leagues in infield hits. He wanted to square up the ball, but D. Gordon is a little bit different. When he mishits the ball, he has an excellent chance of reaching base. Nice transfer by Carpenter on the throw to get him.
That's a great play. And you know, Matt Carpenter talking to him before the game. Third's his natural position. He feels comfortable there. There's situations that come up and he feels like I've already been in this situation before. At second base, he had to think a little bit more than he does at third.
Despite the great month of September, the Dodgers have had at least 1 runner in scoring position every inning. Here with 2 out, a runner at third for Yasiel Puig. He was hit by a pitch, scored a run his last time up. Good curveball, strike 1.
Yasiel didn't like it. Not expecting to see the curveball on the inside half of the plate. You see Molina set up outside, backed up. Surprise Yasiel Puig.
When you see that much movement from the catcher and you're tracking the ball, that's why you're saying, I don't know how he got that call. But it's a strike.
One of the keys to the Dodgers' resurgence with their lineup was when they settled on their outfield. One of the keys to that was Puig being able to handle center field. They moved Kemp into right. Crawford got hot, played left, and Ethier went to the bench. 1 ball, 1 strike as Molina staves a run. They had all those guys, Harold, and didn't know where they were going to fit. Nobody knew when they were playing. Now they do, and the odd man out is Andre Ethier.
Yeah, and you know what? You got to give Ethier some credit, too, for not complaining. I've never heard him complain one time. Everybody wants to play, and I'm sure he's going to get that opportunity at some point in his career. Maybe next year he gets traded, but to swallow his pride and be all in for the team is a big thing.
Here's a 1-1. Good pitch from Wainwright, strike 2.
Here's the other thing we talked about with Kershaw. This is what the greats do. This is why Adam Wainwright's so great. He understands situation. We saw one time already with the D. Gordon at bat, he pitched out of it. Right here, he's got Yasiel Puig eaten out of his hands. First pitch, the strike. Once he got him with the Gumby shoulder mentality, now he's going to eat him up.
straightens him up. 2-2.
Seems like anything hard in is a challenge in this game. See Molina set up away. It's actually a mistake by Wainwright.
I think it's a mistake that's going to be effective because now he's able to go back out again with that breaking ball. He's got him set up for 2 pitches, the ball in or the breaking ball away.
Trying to, Puig laid off. Full count.
Puig swinging at that ball last year.
Trying to add to the Dodger lead here in the 4th. Hard hit, base hit. 3-1. Ellis comes in to score on a 2-out hit by Puig.
Well, I said Wainwright had him. He's going to eat out of his hand, had him eaten out of his hands, but he missed on his pitch. And the discipline and growth of Puig laying off the pitch before. This changed everything. This is the pitch before right here. Last year, he's out. He's swinging. And Adam Wainwright knew that. Now he comes back, same pitch, he gets the nod. So I got to give Puig some credit for maturity right there.
Very rarely do you see Adam Wainwright miss location 3 times in the same at bat.
Adrian Gonzalez now, he's 0 for 2. Wainwright's given up 2 hits in every inning so far. Meanwhile, Kershaw on the other side has retired 11 straight and 12 of 13, and because the only base runner was a 1-out solo home run, he has yet to pitch out of the stretch.
We talked about the shadows for the hitters. How about the right fielder right now? The difficulty now belongs to the right fielder with the sun low directly in his eyes.
I think it's interesting also how deep the shortstop Johnny Peralta is. And I think Puig, when you run, you have that far to go. He's on the back end of the grass. He's got a long way to go for cover. Usually a catcher likes a guy to be there and have him a target instead of hitting the guy on the run. This is a throw on the run if he runs here.
Puig stays put on ball 2.
Once again, I'm sure Mike Matheny is watching him very closely. But the misses now by Adam Wainwright are bad misses, not good misses, just off the zone.
This crowd was loud coming into this game with the anticipation of Kershaw against Adam Wainwright. When that incident happened to start the 3rd inning when Puig was hit by the pitch, Gonzalez and Molina started arguing. This crowd has taken it to a new level. As loud as I've ever heard it in here. 3-1.
I've been thinking about that incident hitting Puig, and why would Gonzalez say something? He's the guy that Puig has really gone to for leadership. And it was almost like a, all right, little brother, I got your back.
Puig scored the tying run. The Dodgers have added 2 since. And a walk to Gonzalez on a 3-1 breaking ball to put 2 on, 2 out. First walk of the night will bring Derek Lilliquist out of the dugout. So while they talk, we'll remind you Fox Sports 1 is your home for college football as it returns. Iowa State takes on 21st ranked Oklahoma State. That's tomorrow. Then a huge Big 12 showdown between two unbeaten teams. 4th-ranked Oklahoma takes on 25th-ranked TCU on Fox, followed by Michigan squaring off against Rutgers, the Big Ten network, while Arizona State squares off against 16th-ranked USC on Fox. Coverage begins at noon Eastern on Fox and Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go as the rookie Marco Gonzalez gets loose.
Solid pitch count, 79 pitches. But for me, it's a combination of the heat today and the fact that he's been pitching out of the stretch, except for the leadoff batter, the entire game. So that 79 pitches, actually, the toll much higher than normal.
Here's Kemp. Ball one outside.
Now, it's one thing to have a high pitch count, and these are stress innings, stress pitches, but he's missing his location. And, you know, you can handle it with missing strikes, missing spots, but he's missing by a lot. And Tom, you made that point earlier. I think that's one of the reasons they're looking at it closer.
Strike one. These two pitchers came into tonight's game knowing that there wasn't going to be much margin for error. Wainwright now trying to keep it a two-run game. He cannot. Digging around third is Puig. It's 4-1.
Difference in the Dodgers last year and this year. Puig laying off the breaking ball and Matt Kemp being healthy.
Stays on the breaking ball. Great piece of hitting. That's actually a very well executed pitch by Wainwright. Once again, 22 batters faced. 19 of those Wainwright had to face them out of the stretch position.
Magic Johnson loving it. Probably the last hitter for Wainwright, with the left-handed hitting Crawford on deck and Gonzalez in the bullpen. 4 unanswered runs put up. Strike one on Ramirez. Playing for a contract next year, free agent to be. Bothered by his hands this year, his leg, shoulder, leg, elbow.
Playing that game, right? Knee bone connected to the hip bone. I mean, he's got all kinds of little injuries.
Played 128 games this year.
The other thing they've done, they've taken him out a lot for defense, and this is playing right into Don Mattingly's hands and into his roster. That's why Rojas is on the club as a defender.
That's on the corner, strike two.
Yeah, you can hear it from the bench. Wainwright gets the call right here to get to a 2-strike count.
Somebody's got great eyes from the bench if they saw that ball's outside.
I think that was either Bert Sugarman or Mary Hart behind home plate who yelled that out. Maybe Larry King.
That ball is inside.
First and third, 2 out. 0-2, the count on Ramirez. And to right. Grichuk to his left to end the inning. 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and a 3-run lead for Clayton Kershaw going into the 5th in game 1. Yadier Molina to lead it off against Clayton Kershaw, who has retired 11 straight. That just floats in for strike two. Made one mistake. That was a breaking ball that was too hittable for Grichuk in the first, and that's all. A clinic. 1 out. 4 straight strikeouts for Kershaw.
Tell you what, you see this pitch right here, the backdoor slider. And this is what changed Clayton Kershaw, being able to throw on both sides of the plate. You know, talking to Don Mattingly about what was the biggest difference between when he broke in and Don, he was coaching on that staff, to now. And it was the ability for them to be able to get him to move the ball in and out. And that slider is the biggest difference.
Dodger shift. Not believing at all that Adams will drop one down left side, because he could walk to first in a 3-run game when the Cardinals need some sign of life. Lefty on lefty. I mean, it's worth a shot.
The biggest change in baseball. If you've been watching baseball the last 20 years, this is the biggest change. The guys will not take that hit to keep a rally going.
Instead, he's in the hole here, 1-2, and the odds of a bunt are gone.
I'll go back to Game 6 of the NLCS last year. That third inning, the Cardinals drove Kershaw from the game. They saw 48 pitches. What the Dodgers told me is when Kershaw gets hit like that, he's either hurt or the Cardinals know what's coming. Well, he wasn't hurt. And A.J. Ellis has made an effort in this game specifically to make sure they change the signs, and he's setting up later. And he said his best plan, he went to Kershaw and said, best plan is we don't allow a runner to second base. And so far, let's get up the home run. No runners on second base.
Pop-up, left side, long run for Ellis.
Yeah, but to the point here in a situation where you have everybody on one side of the field, and the guy's throwing a one-hitter against you, and the only hit you have is the home run, you got to look to start a rally. And if they're giving you that whole side, this is my point. Willie Stargell used to be able to bunt. I mean, big guys, that's not an excuse in my book. You can bunt. That was a hit they're giving him. Now you're in the hole.
And you're gone. 2 out. Seven in the game. 5 straight strikeouts for Kershaw.
This guy's just dirty, man. He can throw so many things, and we're catching him at his best. You know, he hung a breaking ball in the first inning. That's it. But this is what is great about him. We're getting a chance to see it and witness it. The fastball, the curveball, the slider, in and out, up and down the zone, everything. He's doing it all quadrants. It's phenomenal.
2 out, nobody on. Here's Kozma. Best swing we've seen other than Grichuk tonight against Kershaw by Cardinal.
Again, trying to jump on the fastball early in the count. One pitch to Grichuk, his only mistake. This year with 2 strikes on the breaking ball, the slider and the curveball, hitters batted .101 against Clayton Kershaw. You're seeing it today.
Crowd chants MVP. Another 1-2-3 inning. It's Gonzalez. It's the bottom of the 5th inning. Rolling in. So are the Dodgers, who are rolling period behind number 22. Up by 3.
Colright coming your way with 3 things you need to know. Delman Young delivers an 8th inning bases clearing double in a come from behind 7-6 Baltimore win. The O's now take a 2-0 series lead to Detroit. In the NL, the Giants hold off a late game rally from the Nats to win Game 1 on the road 3-2. It's San Francisco's 9th straight postseason victory. And remember, later, Fox Sports Live will have complete postgame analysis from both the AL and NL Division Series on a busy Friday of playoff baseball. That's tonight after the game.
Halfway through game number 1, and it's Carl Crawford first up. It was Crawford who had the 2-out RBI ground rule double back in the 3rd inning that scored Hanley Ramirez, who had just stolen a base. It put the Dodgers on top 2-1. Now it's 4-1. Behind a dominant start from Clayton Kershaw. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tell you what, it's time for people to start waking up and realizing that Carl Crawford's a force. You know, I think people are still pounding him with fastballs. He's hitting home runs, his doubles, he's swinging.
And he shoots one foul right side, not far away from that same spot where he doubled back in the 3rd inning.
I mean, he's transformed his game. In Tampa, he could bunt, hit the ball the other way, steal 60 bags. He's become bigger through all the rehab and rehabilitating his knee and shoulder and everything else. He's stronger. He's hitting the ball harder.
Tommy John surgery that he's come back from. Did not get off to a good start with the Dodgers. Had a miserable time after a big free agent contract signed in Boston. He was part of that big deal coming with Adrian Gonzalez and Josh Beckett here to the Dodgers.
And I think the one thing that Carl's been able to understand, he thinks he got catcher's interference right there, is what he's talking to the umpire about.
Definitely, there was a sound there as
Yes,
well.
There was. I don't know, it's hard to see. Maybe we'll get it. We'll see it from this angle. Tough to tell.
Able to get a piece of the breaking ball.
One thing that's happened with his Tommy John surgery, being a left-handed hitter, it's forced him to use that right hand, dominant, stronger at the bottom hand, and getting through. You see his one-hand finish, that old Charlie Lau, George Brett type of swing. And you bring the bat through the zone and stay on the plane longer. It's made him a better hitter.
He's hot like he is now. You see the action of the bullpen of St. Louis. When he's hot like this, he invites the pitcher inside. The open stance well off the plate. Ever since he ripped that one foul, of course, we saw the ground rule double pulled to right field. Wainwright has stayed away from Crawford.
2-2.
You know, Joe, I was watching the two guys, Freeman and Manis, warming up. I always wondered why they're throwing next to each other. Why don't they flip it so the left-handers on the outside and the right-handers on the other outside? They're throwing their arms together. I always thought, hey, they may bump it.
They're young. They'll figure that out.
So guys, flip it around a little bit.
Superstition, maybe?
Yeah,
Baseball players superstitious?
It could be.
It's 2-2. And to center, falling in a hurry, base hit. And Crawford's 2 for 3. Good at bat. Well, this is obviously just some of all this postseason baseball action. Suspense continues tomorrow on Fox Sports 1 as the Giants take on the Nationals at 4:30 Eastern. That's on Fox Sports 1. Cardinals take on the Dodgers. Game 2, Greinke and Lynn. It's on the MLB Network. Sunday on TBS, the Orioles take on the Tigers, and the Angels square off against the Royals while we're doing football on Fox on Sunday.
The Dodgers put Wainwright right back into the stretch position. They're just working him over. And you've seen, Harold, the last pitch of last inning, that one right there, the release point by Wainwright a little bit lower now. You really have to watch him closely at this point that a mistake doesn't turn into 2 runs.
Man, this is the guy, Uribe, you kind of worry about as you start to head down to the middle, the bottom part of the order. Maybe a hit and run, maybe a steal. Not here, obviously, on an 0-1 count.
So he ties his season high, Wainwright does, allowing his 10th hit. We're only in the 5th inning, 1 on, nobody out. The game I didn't mention is coming up after this one. And it's on TBS. Game 2 of that series between Kansas City and the Angels. Good game last night. Kansas City took game 1. Moustakas home run into right off former Cardinal Fernando Salas. 0-2. Just missed with ball 1.
About that Baltimore comeback today against the Tigers.
Does it say more about Baltimore? And they have so much fight. That crowd is so good. Camden Yards. Or does it say more about the Tigers and their inability late in games with that bad back end of the bullpen just giving it up?
What Denny Green said, they are what we thought they were. You know, the Tigers bullpen is what we had seen all year long. I don't know why we all of a sudden thought it might change in the postseason.
Throw in defense as well. Tough to navigate October with a poor defense and a poor bullpen.
That's been a problem for Detroit for years now. Not addressed enough to this point, it doesn't seem. Despite all those deals and the maneuvering of Dave Dombrowski, that will keep Uribe at the plate.
You know, looking at here's a look at their problem with the bullpen.
There's Jabba today. The Tigers bullpen in 3 2/3 innings. Nelson Cruz 4 for 8 in that series. He homered early in game 1 last night.
I don't think I've ever seen a 108.
Triple digits.
Mercy.
Here's a 1-2. One away. And strikeout number 5 for Adam Wainwright.
And this is what you love about Adam Wainwright. Look, he doesn't have his best stuff. He's all over the place right now. But he's able to keep you in the game. And one thing that's happened is we saw Marco Gonzalez up last half inning. Now he's down. And he saves the bullpen. You know, you may not win this battle, but you win the war. And it allows the Cardinal bullpen to get in sync and in place because he continues to give you innings even if he's getting beat up.
Here's A.J. Ellis, who hit 191 during the regular season. He's 2 for 2 in game 1. This hit got a 2-run rally started last inning. Strike 1. Talk about the importance of a catcher like A.J. Ellis. Among active catchers around the big leagues, he has the lowest career ERA with guys on the mound with him as a catcher. 3.31. The Dodgers pitching staff has a lot to do with that. Yadier Molina comes in at number 5 among active catchers. Even when he didn't hit, he brought a lot with him to the park every day and guiding this Dodgers staff to the 4th best team ERA in the National League.
Well, again, understanding your role. You know, this team, they didn't need the offense this year, so to speak. They needed his leadership and guidance behind the plate. And I do believe that you lose something offensively when you're constantly working the way they do for the pitcher.
That is hammered into left. A 3-hit night for A.J. Ellis. A 2-run shot. And it's 6-1. Who is that guy?
There go the bubbles. The bubble machine is out after 9 singles and 1 double. A.J. Ellis loses 1 to left.
That's the end of the night for Adam Wainwright, and his night ended with an exclamation point. 5 runs, 11 hits. And the last one, number 11, left the park. 3-hit night, A.J. Ellis catching Kershaw. A lot going right for the Dodgers in game 1. All the talk, all the hype about this matchup between the starters. The guy at the plate has dominated that matchup as Sam Freeman takes over. It's a 6-1 game. And for Wainwright, 6 runs on 11 hits, 4 1/3 innings. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, a home run, a hit batsman, and a wild pitch.
Listen to the buzz in this crowd when this guy gets to the plate. It's incredible.
Chance of MVP.
I mean, is there any doubt? He's, to me, the hands down MVP of the National League. Not just because of what he did, because you look at the entire landscape of the league, and he's the most valuable guy, in my opinion.
Well, he's won me over. The argument with giving it to a pitcher is, hey, you only pitch 30 games. Okay, let's say you keep the bullpen healthy. That's 60 games. And so you affect 60 games and the guy plays 162. But his impact has been so profound. His numbers are so off the charts that he's won me over. I think he's the MVP.
Here's a 3-1 from Freeman. A walk to the pitcher. Lefty on lefty from young Sam Freeman. 1 out in the inning. Back to the home run and the reaction by Wainwright.
He knew it as soon as he let it go.
And that's one side of it, and then the bubble machine starts cranking on the other side.
Yeah, they tried to ban it. Now it's all of a sudden gotten bigger, fancier, everything else. They couldn't get rid of it. Major League Baseball frowned on it at first, and now they had to embrace it.
That's actually a custom-made bubble maker, by the way. The original one, they said, they went back to the company, the Dodgers did, and said, we love it, but the batteries are getting corroded. Did a little research and development for the bubble-making company, so they remade the bubble-making machine to have the batteries lifted off a platform, so the batteries will last longer. They have a custom-made bubble machine, now with the Dodger logo on it. And yes, they do have the backup.
Somebody get Lawrence Welch people on the phone. We need bubbles. We need a lot of bubbles.
How about that? Custom made.
Swinging strike on Gordon, 1 and 2.
Somewhere some Little League team is going, well, how do we get that?
Yeah.
And then there is the old school that watches this and goes, that is Little League. I like it myself. It's crazy.
1 on, 1 out. That misses outside. Aaron Andrews, do you guys have that on ABC at Dancing with the Stars, or is that just a baseball thing?
Well, I wish I could have done your favorite little mic tilt there.
Yeah.
I just feel bad I have nothing to offer over here. I'm
That's
watching
okay.
the cards. Everybody's been just...
seat.
I do, actually. It's not by Magic Johnson, though. We do not have bubble machines, by the way.
You do not.
No.
Even
We have
Tom
spray
Bergeron
tans.
can get on that. Spray tans and sequins. Here's Aaron. How about that seat? Dun, 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 dun.
Is that the tilt?
That's the tilt.
Bergeron tilt.
By the way, I said, Tom Verducci, if I gave that bubble machine report, I would have been crucified in the newspaper. You're welcome.
Anytime, Aaron.
1 on, 1 out. 2-2 pitch is in the dirt. Kershaw's not going anywhere. Ball 3.
While we're having that discussion with Aaron about dancing and everything else, did you see the missile D. Gordon sent over the Dodger dugout?
Yeah.
Talk about dancing out of the way. I don't know how that didn't hit anybody. That was incredible.
I think it may have sneaked right under the roof of the dugout. Went into the dugout.
Man.
3-2. Back-to-back walks from Freeman. The Cardinals did not activate Kevin Segrist, the lefty that was so vital to the Cardinals last year in the postseason all year long. He went with a younger Sam Freeman. He's walked Kershaw and now walked Gordon. And that's going to be it for Sam Freeman. Here comes Seth Maness. The bubbles are floating. The Dodgers are rolling, celebrating a 6-1 lead here in the 5th. The NLDS on Fox Sports 1 is presented by Budweiser. Game 2 of this divisional series between the Dodgers and the Cardinals tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on MLB Network. Lance Lynn takes on Zach Greinke. This 1-2 combination at the top of the rotation for the Dodgers is as good as there is. Tom Verducci will be doing that game with Harold Reynolds, and the great Bob Costas will be taking my seat.
We figured we'd go to St. Louis and get another guy out of there.
Yeah.
Bob's got the St. Louis roots.
Just keep taking them. So that's on MLB Network tomorrow night. Game 2 of this series. 2 on here with 1 out. A strike from Seth Maness, who is a strike throwing machine and has really found the ability to induce the ground ball. A lot of double plays since coming up from AAA last year.
Ground ball machine. You saw it right there with the downward action on that sinker. Also a very good changeup.
There's a ground ball. Can they turn 2 out and no double play? Not hard hit and no double play.
Well, look how far D. Gordon went out to take him out on that double play. There's just a few messages that are being sent in this game. Watch him go after Peralta. It's legal. but the slide forces the throw up the line. But I think we're moving to that critical juncture as we set the stage for the rest of the series. It's a 6-1 game. The last thing you want to do is throw inside, because that's our game plan, miss and hit a guy. Now you're going to really take things to another level. So I think it's going to be interesting as we see how guys pitch the rest of this game that heads us forward to tomorrow and the rest of the series.
Here's Gonzalez. Strike one outside corner. Adrian tonight looking for his first hit. He struck out, grounded out, walked. It's already 6-1 for Kershaw. Gonzalez trying to add to it. And the hole, 0-2.
For me, it's not so much it was the pitch to Hanley Ramirez as it was the reaction of Adrian Gonzalez that changed this ball game and perhaps the series. A lot to be played, obviously. Adrian Gonzalez walking out there and saying, we are not taking this anymore. We will not be kicked around. Really lit fire in this team.
And in this crowd. Been buzzing ever since. There's ball one.
Well, the other part of that, that's not his personality. You know, you think Puig might react that way, or you might see that reaction out of Kemp, because we've seen them react that way. Adrian Gonzalez is pretty mellow.
Here is a 1-2 runner goes. That's strike three, and the inning is over. An inning in which the Dodgers chased the Cardinals starter Adam Wainwright. They scored 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. The latest 2 on the shot by A.J. Ellis. A.J. catching Clayton Kershaw, who has given up 1 run on 1 hit. Into the 6th inning we go. Geico in-game box score for the Cardinals, 1 hit. The solo home run by Grichuk in the 1st inning off Clayton Kershaw on a breaking ball. That's all. 6-1 Dodgers lead. John Jay struck out his first time. Strike one.
And you think about how hard the Dodgers have made or did make Adam Wainwright work. He threw 102 pitches, 70 of those out of the stretch. Clayton Kershaw just threw pitch number 68, has yet to throw one out of the stretch.
We'll get to know more about Clayton Kershaw after Jay does something to start this 6th inning. A 5-run game. That's a strike, and it's 1-2. Marco Gonzalez getting loose for the 2nd time.
And you get him up again, he's coming in the game. A young guy, first 21 years old.
On deck is Borges. He'll bat for Manus, who retired the 2 batters he faced.
And that to me is the story of the 2 teams. You know, the Cardinals go to pinch hit, and you bring up Peter Borges, who's a speed guy, defensive player. The Dodgers, you look at their bench strength, you're looking at Ethier,
Van Slyke,
Justin Turner.
Big difference. Justin Turner hit 340. What a find he was. Starts all over the infield. He can play anywhere. Here's a 2-2. Full count as that bounced way in front of the plate.
You see A.J. Ellis going for the 2-strike block. If there's 1 strike, he might just kind of swipe at that ball. 2 strikes, he's got to go down and block it in case batter does swing. Now you got to make the play at first.
Here is a 3-2 pitch. When we learn more about Clayton Kershaw, realize he's a guy that grew up in Dallas. Played high school football with Matthew Stafford, the quarterback for the Detroit Lions. He was Stafford's center. He was the center on the football field. Here's a 3-2 pitch. And he grew up idolizing a San Francisco Giant, Will Clark.
The thrill.
He actually ended his career with the Cardinals club. Beach ball gets loose in the outfield, so wait for another 3-2 to Jay.
Well, we are in Southern California.
It works here. There you go. There's Stafford on the right. And Kershaw on the left. Flipped in that one. D. Gordon down on a knee. Let's hear from Clayton with one out in the sixth.
My name's Clayton Kershaw. Will the Thrill is my guy. Played first base. I was left-handed, wasn't very fast. One food I can't live without would probably be Mexican food. I think it'd be pretty fun to face Ted Williams. Lefty too. I might have a chance of getting him out even.
There's some confidence for you. Facing Ted Williams.
That's pretty cool.
Here's Borges, former LA Angel. Game with Grichuk, who's homered tonight, the only Cardinal hit for David Freese and Fernando Salas during the offseason. Strike one.
Now, the amazing thing with Kershaw, you saw the 3-ball count to John Jay, and it got your attention. Like, is he starting to lose it? You're amazed when he goes to 3 balls. You know, for a strikeout pitcher, he is one of the most economical strikeout pitchers you'll ever see.
That last pitch at 94 miles per hour.
You see guys fouling balls off, they can't catch up to him. That's the amazing thing is you look at the K rate that Tom was just talking about. But what makes that so incredible is the fact that you're swinging first pitch off this guy, and you know a fastball's coming, and you can't put it in play.
Fewest pitches per innings pitched around baseball, and as you said, Tom, he racked up 239 Ks.
Traditionally, that doesn't add up. That calculus doesn't work. You strike out batters at a higher rate than anybody, yet you're so have to throw so few pitches. What that tells me is he knows how to put people away.
As he just did with Borges, strikeout number 8.
He turns defense into offense the way he attacks with 2 strikes.
And we were talking so much about Clayton. I was talking with the great Steve Warren about this, and he gave me a stat that I just marveled at. 40% of the first pitch guys are swinging at when they're facing Clayton Kershaw. That's the highest rate since 1997 when John Smoltz was pitching. It's incredible. And they still can't put it in play.
Here's Carpenter getting one into the air, into right, back at the wall. It's gone. 2 solo home runs tonight for St. Louis, one by Grichuk, this one by Carpenter. They throw it back in the outfield, and it's a 6-2 game.
Especially after I gave that great stat. Unbelievable.
They hit only 8 home runs during the regular season. And this ball got way up into the bleachers in right center. It's a 4-run game.
Again, we said at the top, first pitch 85% of the time with Kershaw, it's going to be a fastball. As you said, Harold, why wait to see the breaking stuff? And that's why you see hitters being aggressive first pitch against Kershaw.
Second hit, second home run tonight for the Cardinals. Here's the guy with the other. Grichuk. Excuse me, swing. Gonzalez with a diving catch. Adrian doesn't have a hit tonight, but he makes a diving catch in front of the Cardinal dugout to send this game 1, into the bottom of the 6th inning. The Dodgers up 6-2. Marco Gonzalez was the Cardinals' first-round selection, 19th overall in the draft last year. He's got a good fastball. He's got a great changeup. Got to the big leagues this season, made his Major League Baseball debut in a game against the Rockies in Denver. He's from Fort Collins, Colorado, as he misses with ball 1 after a strike to Matt Kemp.
Look at that face, Joe. I mean, he looks like he's right out of college. He should be going back to school this fall. My goodness.
22 years old. Won't turn 23 until February.
Man, he's got an electric arm. It's one of the first left-handers the Cardinals that drafted in a number of years.
There's a base hit to center by Matt Kemp. He's got a 3-hit night.
He's the difference maker. He's healthy again. We're watching the swing fluid. This is the MVP, Matt Kemp. that everybody's been waiting on. It's taken about a year for him to get all the way back healthy. When you go through shoulder surgery, ankle injuries, you name it, but that's a classic stroke, and it's a beautiful thing to see for the Dodgers. Take that back. If you're a fan of baseball, Matt Kemp's one of the faces of the game. It's good to see him back healthy.
Here's Hanley Ramirez, 1 for 3. Fastball, foul ball, strike 1.
We talked about it. This is a different Dodger lineup than what St. Louis saw last year in the playoffs. And Kemp, big reason why. A healthy Hanley Ramirez, another. You're right about those swings, Harold. Matt Kemp on balance throughout this game on off-speed pitches. Took the curveball from Wainwright, the changeup right there. Very simple approach.
4th straight inning, the Dodgers have put their leadoff man on base. It started with Puig being hit to lead off in the 3rd inning. He came around to score the tying run, and the Dodgers put up 5 more before Matt Carpenter homered at the top of this inning to make it 6-2. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Ramirez, strike 2. What they do on Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1 is they go for the 1. The 1 is brought to you by Fox Sports Live. Stay tuned right after the game. You get all the latest highlights and news from the world of sports. They do it very well at Fox Sports 1. Will that be it? Adrian Gonzalez catch on the dive to end the top of this 6th inning, and a ball hit by Grichuk.
When you said Adrian Gonzalez, Joe, I thought you were going to go to his negotiating skills with Yadier Molina.
That could be the one.
It trumps the catch on the foul ball in my estimation.
Tell you what, this is respect for Yadi right here. It's a ball in the dirt. Watch him block it. Anytime the ball's in the dirt as a base runner, you're anticipating going. Matt Kemp was getting ready to take off. He read it well, and then he realized and remembered who's behind the plate. That changes things.
2-2 on Ramirez. Now full count. Cardinals have been able to come up with a lot of good young pitching in their minor leagues. Put that pitching in the hands of that man, Mike Matheny, who is in his 3rd year as manager of the Cardinals. Been at least to the NLCS in each of his first 2 years.
A marvelous job.
Check on Kemp.
This guy's got a great pickoff move. He's got a little lob over like that. I know you're there. He's got the step off snap move that'll get you, and he's got a great hanging Bach move too.
Runner goes on a ground ball foul outside 3rd. So can you make a strong argument that at least in this game, this could be the one, the highlight that kind of changed the feel of this game?
That's the one. Absolutely. In both clubhouses after the game, that's the one.
I might give it to the umpire.
Yeah,
he's the one.
Look at him shift. Shifted from one fight to the next. Kemp was going on the previous 3-2 pitch. Stays put. Pop up into right. Grichuk back to grab it. Kemp will tag but stay put. 1 on, 1 up. The one might be the slide by J.J. Hardy, which was the winning run on a pinch hit 3-run double hit by Delman Young in that win earlier today. The Baltimore Orioles coming back to beat the Tigers in their bullpen. It's a fun time in baseball. Those play-in games were great.
Oh, it's awesome.
Especially that Oakland, Kansas City game.
It's just changed everything, having the play-in game, the extra wild card. It's changed the summer, from June, July on. And then when you get here, the excitement is amped up. And I think it's affected the crowds that we've been able to see and how they react to baseball as well.
I'll tell you, I've been shocked this week already. I know it's early in the postseason. How many runs have been scored? Coming off a season, it was harder to get a hit in the big leagues this year than any time since 1972. We had Lester and Shields, thought that would be a pitching duel.
Here's a double play ball. Peralta steps and throws, and Gonzalez, the kid, 21 years old, turns in a scoreless sixth. Into the 7th inning of game 1. Kershaw back to work, leading 6-2. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. There's Matt Holliday. Holliday had a real good second half, especially power-wise for the Cardinals. The Cardinals team that scored 99 fewer runs than the Dodgers this year, and 164 fewer runs than they did a year ago.
Well, a lot of that was the offense was down with two strikes last year. Runners in scoring position. They did an amazing job of driving in runs. And Matt Holliday, the second half, what I've seen with him is he's hitting the low ball again. You know, we talk about Mike Trout being able to handle the low pitch. This guy does that as well as anybody, and he looks like he got back to hitting balls in his zone instead of chasing balls out of the strike zone. I think the first half he pressed a little bit because he didn't know what the protection for him was going to be like.
That's ball 3 to a guy who hit 14 home runs. 14 of his 20 after the All-Star break, trying to get on to start something for St. Louis in the 7th. 3-1 pitch. That is into center, a base hit, a broken bat single into center. And that's the first Cardinal hit that isn't a home run here in game 1.
Shortstop number 27.
Let's see if Clayton remembers how to pitch out of the stretch.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
First time, man. Listen, I don't want to get too far ahead, but these next 6 outs for him important in terms of managing the pitch count if you really want to look ahead. Well, Don Mattingly is not managing game 4. You still need game 1. Remember, last year he did pitch Kershaw on short rest in game 4, up 2 games to 1. And if Clayton can manage his pitch count these next 2 innings, that would still be a play.
So the unique set of Kershaw. Fires high to Peralta. Yeah, I think you have to start thinking that way, Tom. You have to think about where the Dodgers go with their rotation. They have Ryu at this point scheduled to go game 3. With shoulder inflammation, hasn't pitched in a game since September 12th. And if Kershaw can dodge trouble and high pitch counts, it's getting tougher now. Here's one into left center field. They're going to hold Holliday in second as Puig gets over to cut it off. The Cardinals have life here in the 7th inning.
Well, if you're wondering about Yasiel Puig's maturity, watch this ball as Peralta goes down and scalds it. And Puig cuts this ball off in center field. I mean, to see him flying around like that, cut that ball off, the effort. We did not see this effort before. Look at him cut that ball off. That's a first and third situation that allows you to keep that double play in order and still have a chance to manage this inning. It's a huge play.
So on this warm night in Los Angeles, Kershaw is in his first jam. He leads by 4, 2 on, nobody out. Molina gets a base hit into center. They will hold Holliday at third, and the bases are loaded on 3 straight hits.
Well, Tom, you've been talking about all night how important it is to get a pitcher into the stretch. It just changes your mechanics, and it takes a little bit off, especially Kershaw with the slide step. These guys had a great approach. They hammered to the first pitch. Not as much on it out of the slide step that he's using. Interesting.
So now it's Adams. Honeycutt to the phone, down to the bullpen. This happened in a hurry. Tying run at the plate here in the 7th inning of game 1. Strike 1.
That phone rings in the Dodger bullpen. They don't know who it's for. Multiple options, but really no set roles. Just haven't figured out a formula for the end game for Los Angeles.
Strike two as Adams chased it.
You know, a lot of guys get in a jam and you see the panic. I'm watching a pitcher go, give me the ball, let's go. And that's back-to-back pitches he threw, and he basically walked to the catcher and said, give me the ball.
Lefty J.P. Howell getting loose. Adams 0 for 2 tonight. Again, hit 190 off left-handers this season. Realize where the Cardinals are in their lineup. They've got the left-handed hitting Adams up now. Then Pete Kozma, who played only 14 games in the big leagues, waiting on deck. With a chance here in the 7th inning to draw closer or even tie it with one swing. That's into center, a base hit. That's 4 straight. In to score is Holiday. And it's a 6-3 game. Wow.
That was quick.
And so now consternation in that Dodger dugout, celebration in the Cardinal dugout, as they have 3 on, nobody out in a 3-run game.
And Joe, I go to your point here. He misses his spot. He drives the ball back up the middle. Nice piece of hitting. But your point of Pete Kozma's coming to the plate. Now look at the Cardinal bench. They don't have that guy. They just say, all right, let's get a pinch hitter. Maybe we'll run into one and score 4 on one swing. You don't have that guy. Or you look on the other side, we talked about already. You got Turner, Van Slyke, Ethier to go to. That's the difference to me.
Base hit by Matt Holliday put Kershaw in the stretch, and ever since we've seen a different Kershaw.
Here's Kozma. 0 for 2 tonight. 4 out of 10 in his career against Kershaw. And that's the second time we've seen Kozma have a real good swing against the Dodger left-hander.
It was a nice stroke. He's on it, and again they attack that first pitch fastball. You know, a lot of times the first at bat, you see what the guy's got. Second at bat, feel him out a little bit more. Third at bat, all right, here's our plan, guys. Let's go get him.
You saw 95, but you also saw him miss location with that fastball.
Clayton Kershaw has never allowed a grand slam, as he finds the strike zone for strike 2. Never a grand slam against a guy who came up in 2008. He's thrown all these innings.
Sorry, 80 plate appearances, no grand slams, and a 206 batting average. Key base hit by Matt Adams right there.
One out. Strikeout number 9.
Didn't miss location with that 95. Right on the black. Watch Ellis just stick this.
And that's one of those, it looks like a ball. Should I lay off it? Oh, I can't. Maybe I'll foul it off. No chance. That's just paint. Put the ball on the corner right at the glove. Nothing you can do with it.
Now bases loaded, 1 out for John Jay. 0 for 2 tonight. But hit .375 against left-handed pitching during the season. Strike 1.
You know, they're getting great swings, but this is when you have that little herky-jerky motion and you've still got 95. That's why they're missing it. You saw Kozma first swing, and now you see Jay with the first swing fouling back.
Oscar Taveras is in the on-deck circle, the rookie. That is just inside, a ball and a strike, and Kershaw with an extra look in.
Yeah, he wanted this one. Maybe not the location he wanted, but he thought it came back over the inside, even though the target was away.
That looked pretty good. I'd have wanted that too.
Tracks liked it.
Carlos Martinez getting loose. Here is a 1-1. Base hit left field. In to score is Peralta. Stopping at third is Molina. And it's a 6-4 game. With the bases still loaded, only one out.
I mean, they're getting all these hits, but it's almost like in a basketball game, you're up and they just come down and shoot twos and they haven't been able to hit a three. You know, they keep getting base hits and driving in one run at a time, playing base-to-base baseball.
Oscar Tavares.
It just seems like Clayton is trying to punch his way out of this with fastballs, and it's playing into the hands of the Cardinals, especially early in counts.
Don Mattingly with a slow walk out to the mound.
He got the matchup he wants. He wants J.P. Howell with Tavares being announced. If he's going to make a move, that would be the time to make it. I think Clayton talks him out of it.
Yeah, this may be one of the rare times the manager goes out to the mound and does not have his mind made up. Normally, this would be a position for the pitching coach, but Mattingly wanted to hear from Kershaw himself.
Here are the hits in the inning. It started with Holiday back up the middle. Peralta into left. Then it was Yadier Molina back up the middle. Adams with a base hit. John Jay goes the other way.
Great piece of hitting by Jay. Everybody else, they didn't miss pitches that they should have hit. So they did a nice job of hitting, but those are balls they should hit. John Jay's pitch up and away, nice piece of staying with it and driving it to left field.
The 22-year-old Oscar Tavares, who has been this highly touted prospect in the Cardinal organization, takes a strike. He has not shown the power the Cardinals expected when they called him up. 3 home runs and 234 at-bats. He's got a long swing. When he connects, the ball will travel. Tying run at second. Strike 2.
If I'm Tavares and I've been watching this game on the bench and Kershaw throws me a first pitch fastball for a strike and I take it, well, shame on me. Now I'm chasing breaking stuff out of the zone.
Yeah, but the backside of that too is it's a fastball in the black away. He wasn't going to do anything with it, so I understand that point.
Baez and Howell. Lefty on deck and Carpenter. Kershaw in a battle now in the 7th. 2 out.
To me, that's why you attack first pitch fastballs, especially the way he's not coming inside there, bases loaded.
I get it. I just think the first pitch that Tavares saw was a questionable pitch anyway. And you're not going to swing at that. And he was able to get it.
Here's Matt Carpenter. Last time up, jumped on it. Woo. If he does that here, the Cardinals will have their second lead of the night. Tying run is a well-placed base hit away. Bases loaded, 2 out. And he went up there ready to swing, and at 95 miles per hour, fouled it away.
Oh, you gotta love it. I'm sitting here thinking he's gonna throw a wrinkle up there right after he jumped on first pitch fastball, hit it out last time. Clayton Kershaw, challenge fastball right out of the box.
Two-run game. Strike 2.
They need another big knock. Here's a fastball. It throws by him. But Joe, you're probably liking it to this. They've kicked field goals.
He can strike out the side. Good swing.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone to the slider that we saw to Tavares. You know, continues to challenge Carpenter with fastballs. He's proven what he can do with the fastball.
Well, even the big breaking ball, we really haven't together.
A guy who's never hit a grand slam against a guy who's never given one up. Nothing and 2 the count. Well blocked by Ellis.
There's that slider, just something else that would give the hitter something else to think about. That fastball picks up a little bit more by giving him a thought that, hey, he might throw something. I'd come back with another slider right here.
Good job by Ellis.
Great job.
Two and 2.
Game 6, 2013 NLCS, the biggest at bat. Matt Carpenter against Clayton Kershaw. Wore him out with 11 pitches, refused to be punched out. Kershaw couldn't make it out of the inning.
I think the Dodgers have done a poor job of mixing signs. When they get this many good swings with the runner at second base all inning long, you got to mix your signs in.
Good swing.
Well, Ned Colletti spoke to the team on Wednesday. He said the Cardinals are a team that will take advantage of every opportunity. They will steal your lunch money and they will steal your signs. Well known around the game for that.
And there's no doubt you don't hit a major league record like they did last year, runners in scoring position, without helping the hitter. We watched lefties come up there and have swings like a right-hander knowing what's coming.
Still 2 and 2.
Ready to have a conversation and mix it up.
Carpenter, I wonder if he's thinking about that at bat last year. It was the second time he'd faced Kershaw in the game. The first time he punched out on 3 or 4 pitches. He went up the second time saying, no matter what, I am not striking out. Certainly seems like his approach right here.
There's a lot of room on this infield where the infield is pushed way back. The Cardinals are going to take the lead. Carpenter has emptied the benches, the bases, and with the 3-run double, St. Louis jumps on top. And it's Carpenter again.
What a comeback. He swung every pitch like he knew what was coming. I'm convinced that they've tipped every sign this half inning, and they've done a great job of doing it. And for the hitter and the base runner to communicate, they did a great job of executing. And this falls on, in my mind, that's on the Dodgers. To not ever have a conversation between the pitcher and catcher and maybe change your signs, even if they're not giving them, is criminal.
Give Carpenter a ton of credit for refusing to be put away against the best strikeout pitcher in the league. It looked to me that entire inning that Kershaw wanted to bully his way out of trouble with the fastball, and that Carpenter got him.
And an 8-pitch at bat. And with that, after all the dominance, Kershaw leaves down by 1. Coming into the 7th inning, Clayton Kershaw had allowed 2 hits, 2 solo home runs, had not walked anybody, had struck out 8. And in this inning, he's allowed 5 runs on 6 hits. He leaves with a runner at second, Carpenter, who has delivered another huge double against Clayton Kershaw last year in the NLCS. Tonight, game 1 of the NLDS, and Pedro Baez takes over on the mound with Randall Grichuk at the plate. Ethier in the game and left in a double switch. Runner at second, 2 out. Ball 1 down and away.
Whole new conversation. total dominance. And that's such a big blow by Carpenter because the Cardinals were picking up one run at a time. They weren't able to score two on a single. It was one at a time. That is so hard to continue to keep that line moving, especially on that guy.
It is remarkable how fast that happened. First four in the inning reached on singles. As the count goes to 2-0 on Grichuk. He's the 9th man to bat in the inning. And then after a strikeout of Kozma, with a run in, the bases loaded, nobody out. Kozma strikes out. Jay with a base hit. A strikeout of Taveras. Matt Carpenter with a 2-out, 3-run double to make it 7-6. Baez brings home a 2-0. Strike one.
Shocking how it turned. 6-1 lead. Clayton Kershaw on the mound. A career record of 40-2 when the Dodgers score 6 runs.
Yeah, but he hadn't faced this club. There's been the 6th time he's allowed 7 earned runs in a game. 3 have been versus the Cardinals.
Here is a 2-1 pitch to Grichuk. 3 balls and a strike with Matt Holliday on deck. Kershaw with a career postseason record of 1-3. This game is not what anybody expected. Wainwright not effective. He ends up going 4 1/3, and Kershaw blows a 5-run lead late.
And it happened so quick. I think that's why everybody is so shocked. But I still go back to the fact that you can't not have multiple signs, mix your signs up, whatever you're doing at second base when they're pounding your pitcher like that.
Full count on Grichuk. In the bottom of this inning, it'll be the bottom 3 in the lineup, which will include Ethier. Uribe, Ellis, and Ethier for the Dodgers, who will be trailing by at least 1. That is just down for ball 4. How about Matt Carpenter against Clayton Kershaw? An 11-pitch at bat that ended with a double into the right field corner at the beginning of a 9-run onslaught. And now this year in the division series, after homering in an 8-pitch at bat, he gets the double to clear the bases to put St. Louis on top by 1.
Just a great piece of hitting. And you know what? In the concentration, he locks in on the moment. That's a tremendous piece of work by Matt Carpenter.
Now it's Holliday, 2 on with 2 out.
Matt Carpenter is the stone in the shoe of Clayton Kershaw. What an annoyance. Refused to go away.
Here's a high fly ball to left. Back at the wall. It is gone. A 3-run home run for Matt Holliday. And just like that, it's 10-6 St. Louis in the 7th.
The ability to hit with 2 guys on right there, amazing. But Matt Holliday, again, a ball down, runner second base, the trend continues. That dugout is fired up, and for rightfully so. Mercy.
Holliday started it with a hit. And this, a blast into the seats and left.
Right in his will zone. Right in his wheelhouse.
And the team that they said couldn't score or hit home runs. They've hit 3 home runs tonight. Grichuk, Carpenter, and now Holliday.
Well, everybody's talking about the weather, and as a baseball player, when it's this hot, everybody wants to hit. Everything feels good off the bat. The pine tar feels good in your hands. The ball's jumping. You may hit a ball, looks like it's going to be in the gap, and ends up in the seats. I mean, it's a great time to play when the weather's hot.
Here's the 0-1 from Baez. Left side, Uribe ends the inning. An 8-run 7th inning for St. Louis. And it was Holiday who caps it with a 3-run shot. What a turnaround. Time to stretch here at Dodger Stadium. Kershaw knocked out in the 7th. Cardinals lead by 4. The young right-hander who was so good in the postseason last year for St. Louis, up and down this year for the Cardinals. Pitched out of the bullpen in the rotation is Carlos Martinez. An 8-run top of the 7th inning, and now Uribe sends Davey Lopes, the first base coach, to the ground on a foul ball right side. It'll be Uribe, Ellis, and Ethier. When A.J. Ellis hit a 2-run shot in the 5th inning to knock Adam Wainwright out of the game, you thought with the way Clayton Kershaw was pitching, that would be more than enough. For good measure, Sam Freeman came in and walked 2 left-handed batters, but Manus got the next 2 guys to keep it a 6-1 game at the time. And Carpenter homered in the 6th. A 3-run double in the 7th capped the inning with a 3-run shot by Holiday. 8 runs on 7 hits.
I think when you look back at that half inning, I know the Carpenter at bat was amazing, but believe it or not, the Holiday blow is what hurt him. Because you're at 7-6, you come back in the dugout, you're feeling okay. That 3-run difference is huge.
Now a 10-6 ball game after Holiday, who hit 20 home runs during the regular season, shot one way out into left. Strikeout starts the inning. Uribe is 1 for 4. This is this season, 3 or more runs of support. In 18 starts, Greinke 16-0, rather 17-0, and Kershaw 16-0. So you give the top 2 guys, that's 3 runs. 3 or more runs of support, they're undefeated. And the Cardinals come up with an 8-run 7th.
And that's why this is so shocking. Kershaw just doesn't get beat up like this. The Dodgers, it's almost guaranteed win night when he's had the ball the last 5 months. 20-1 when he starts, regardless of support. If you like scratch out a couple, they win any game. Right now, 6, not enough.
Well, and I know somebody's probably sitting there going, why didn't Mattingly go to the pen? Don't go to the pen. You think Kershaw's getting out of it, right, Joe?
Absolutely. 0-2 pitch is down and away for Martinez. Well, I mean, I think you could make the same case with Wainwright earlier in the game. These guys earn your trust. Kershaw certainly has it for good reason. Wainwright on the other side. And Kershaw could not get Matt Carpenter.
Thorn in his side. What'd you say, Tom? A pebble in his shoe?
Stone in his shoe. You know how annoying that is?
I do.
For more on the Cardinals side, let's go down to Aaron Andrews.
Thorn in his side. That's what Don Mattingly said this week when he talked about the Cardinals. And we talked to Matt Carpenter about this.
Here's a pop-up right side headed over to where Aaron is, and it's Adams drifting for out number 2.
I'm not going for that, by the way. Yeah, we asked Matt Carpenter about being a thorn in their sides, and he said it's twofold for us. Yeah, we feel good. We know we've hit Clayton Kershaw well, and we know we've done well against the Dodgers. Also, they come into this series as they feel big underdogs. No one's giving them a shot. They're going up against the supposed MVP. So they said they feel like that's at their advantage as well.
Well, it's shown here tonight as they got up off the deck, didn't quit. Whether it was Tony La Russa in the corner of that dugout or handing it over to Mike Matheny, they've always talked about a hard 9. Not giving up. With Kershaw on the mound, they didn't. Now they lead by 4. Here's a strike on the outside corner to Andre Ethier, who took over in the double switch.
This is a series changer, not just this game. This is a series changer. You're able to turn it around like that.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ethier.
Knowing you want to get out of here with the split and go back home for 2 home games and figure it out. That is a huge momentum swing.
Here's a 1-1 with 2 out, nobody on upstairs from Martinez. You can see he can light up a radar gun at 98. Still trying to harness all that God-given ability at the big league level. Here is is a 2-1. Right side, Martinez with an uneventful first inning of work. Sends this game, game 1 into the 8th inning. With St. Louis on top of the Dodgers 10-6. The NLDS on Fox Sports 1, presented by Budweiser. If you left your television and then came back, you may be shocked to see the score at 10-6. A game that seemed to be in the complete control of Clayton Kershaw until an uprising in the 7th. Hits by Holiday, Peralta, Molina, Adams, John Jay. A 3-run double by Carpenter. A 3-run home run by Holiday. Baez back to start the 8th. Molina flips it foul right side. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the next time somebody tells you they've got this game figured out, enjoy a good laugh. We talked about this. Runs are down lowest level since 1976. That's even before the Harold Reynolds era. And you look at the scoreboard, and the game started by probably the 2 best pitchers in the National League, and it looks like the NFL has come back to Los Angeles.
To the right side of D. Gordon. Over to get it. 1 away. We're going to have a pitching change with Matt Adams coming up. Saw J.P. Howell up earlier, the left-hander. The left-handed hitting Adams. We got a big RBI base hit in that 8-run 7th. Now it's Scott Elbert taking over here in the 8th inning of a 4-run game. This game's in the top of the 8th inning, 1 out, nobody on, as Elbert takes over with Adams coming up. I think Matt Adams' base hit could get lost in that avalanche of hits. 7 of them in the 7th inning, but against Clayton Kershaw, a guy who hit under 200 against left-handed pitching during the course of the season. That was a big RBI base hit and set the Cardinals up for bigger and better things to come.
Well, it really did. And I tell you, you got to pay attention if you're the Dodgers or anybody, because tipping signs from second base is so big. And I know people are probably thinking, "Oh, you're paranoid about this." No, it happens. 5 for 7 with 8 RBIs tonight with the runner at second base of the Cardinals off of Kershaw. 5 for 7, 8 RBIs with the runner at second base. I'm just saying they're great at being able to relay. It's nice to know what's coming. Could I be wrong? Maybe. But I doubt it.
A strikeout for out number 2. And with that, we'll take it down to Ken Rosenthal. Ken.
Joe, when I look at this series now, the whole question for me is how the Dodgers respond both tonight and going forward. There's no doubt there is a ton of talent on this team, but there are people who have questioned their chemistry, their mental toughness, whatever you want to call it. Now, we saw a lot of fight from them earlier in the game, the 3rd inning, but now they're facing some adversity.
Yeah, big adversity against the Cardinal bullpen, where you're into the late innings now with guys like Neshek, who was an all-star, Trevor Rosenthal, who had a big year closing games. Again, you go back to 2 guys in this lineup that headline it. It starts with Matt Carpenter. And Matt Holliday's right in there behind him because he started that 7th inning and ended that 7th inning with a base hit and a 3-run home run.
It's really a 3-Matt night. You talked about Matt Adams, Matt Holliday, and Matt Carpenter. Those three Matts got it done.
Ball's inside, a ball and a strike on Pete Cosmo.
You know, the count all the same. It's 1 loss if this score holds up for Los Angeles. But when you see your ace not just get beat, but get beat up, you wonder if there's a psychological carryover, as Kenny alluded to. 8 earned runs allowed by Kershaw, the most in Dodgers postseason history. Who saw that coming?
Now with the way the first 6 innings unfolded, nobody. Look at this stat. First pitcher in postseason history to give up 7 or more earned runs in consecutive starts. Go back to game 6 of last year's NLCS. He gave up 7 in a 9-0 loss. He gives up 8 here tonight.
Same team. He's got to be sickened by it. But I think the adjustment that you make is you go back and you figure out, were they giving signs? Were they not? Was I missing my spots? Did I not use my breaking ball in that half inning? Those are the things that go back, because if you look at the game in St. Louis and the game here tonight, it's really one inning that exploded on it. So you got to go back and figure out what went wrong in that inning.
Hard to believe they were careless with their signs when A.J. Ellis told me that was a point of emphasis coming into the game. He even mentioned that the base coaches of the Cardinals are renowned for being able to steal locations and signal to hitters.
Two balls, two strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Cosma looking for his first hit. Strikeout ends the inning. That sends us into the bottom of the 8th inning at Dodger Stadium. Top of the order coming up for Los Angeles as they trail by 4.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Hi, we're standing up. After the game on Fox Sports Live, Donovan McNabb goes one-on-one with Andy Dalton, and we look back at the MLB season through the eyes of the fan.
And don't worry, we got you covered for everything that happened at Dodger Stadium. Highlights, reaction, and whatever else we can find. That's tonight on Fox Sports Live. You're home for the postseason.
First pitch is a ball from Carlos Martinez to D. Gordon. Top of the order for the Dodgers. They're trying to get up off the deck and return the favor. All the momentum in the Cardinal dugout after an 8-run 7th. 1 ball, 1 strike on D. Gordon against Carlos Martinez, who threw a perfect 7th.
See, I think this situation, D. Gordon leads off, you get a ball 1, you got to take a strike. Make him throw you a strike.
Chopper Carpenter. What a play, 1 away.
Great call, Joe. That's a terrific play. He's fading away from first base. He has to go high on the chopper. And you know D. Gordon's running. He's got a guy that can fly. Talked about him being comfortable at third base. That is a terrific play. To catch, set, and come back and throw this across the body and get him by a step. Great play.
1 away here in the 8th inning with Puig coming up.
So who's the MVP tonight in the game? I think it's that guy at third, I think.
I would agree with you. Carpenter, who put the Cardinals from down 2 to up 1 with 1 strike. Holiday's right behind him. The guy the Cardinals rewarded with a long-term contract extension. Spring training time, and he has settled in. That's upstairs, 2-0. Puig.
You know, I thought it was interesting, Tom, talking to Matt before the game, and he talked about how being back in the postseason again and being familiar with the surroundings help.
Absolutely. Mike Matheny yesterday was asked about this Cardinal offense. It's been inconsistent at best. Mike said, I have to believe there's a time when this team will hit all cylinders. He's off to a good start tonight. 2 swings at the bat accounting for 6 runs. That's the kind of quick strike that's been lacking for the St. Louis offense.
Puig takes a walk as he flips the bat. 1 on, 1 out. Talk about the other series. Tomorrow, it's Division Series Game 2. The Giants and Nationals. Giants won Game 1. 4:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Cardinals and Dodgers on MLB Network. 9:30 Eastern. That's tomorrow night. Orioles and Tigers on Sunday. Same for the Angels and Royals. Those games are on TBS. Martinez is gone. With Gonzalez coming up, the Cardinals go back to the bullpen. Randy Cho coming in. Randy Cho takes over. He is the 2nd pitcher of the inning. 6th pitcher of the night for St. Louis. Started with Wainwright, Freeman, Manus, Gonzalez, Martinez, now Cho. 1 on, 1 out. Adrian Gonzalez digging in. 2 for 8 in his career against Randy Choate. 10-6 game, bottom of the 8th. Ball 1.
Well, I said with 3 left-handers in the bullpen, it will be the rare plate appearance after the 6th inning when Adrian Gonzalez sees a right-hander. Randy Choate, as effective as you can be with an 85-mile-an-hour sinker and a frisbee slider. The Dodgers team 4 for 35 against him.
There's a strike. Neshek is ready to go. After Gonzalez, you get into Kemp and Ramirez, 2 right-handers.
Joe, I tell you what, you look back at Adam Wainwright, and him staying in the game, getting beat up, taking the blows, has allowed their bullpen to be able to match up. He took that extra inning where he thought maybe he should have been out an inning earlier.
Gonzalez hits one into right. Back at the wall. It is gone. It's a 2-run game. That's going to be it for Randy Choate as the man who hits his 4th career postseason home run, who led the Dodgers in home runs, led the big leagues in RBIs, just made it a 2-run game.
One of the best off-speed hitters in all of baseball. Why? Keeps his bat in the zone, stays on balance. They told me that's why he uses a big bat, 35 inches long, to keep it in the zone on off-speed pitches.
Neshek will be coming in with Kemp and Ramirez coming up. Take a break here in the 8th inning of a crazy, fun game 1. Double switch used by Mike Matheny. Daniel Descalso comes in to play second. He'll bat 9th. Nobody cares where Pat Neshek is hitting. They're wondering what he's going to do on the mound. Unbelievable numbers in his first year with the Cardinals. But he's batting 7th, just so you know.
Second time tonight, Adrian Gonzalez woke up the crowd.
First with an argument, this time with a home run. And here's Matt Kemp. 3-hit night for Kemp. Had him play perfectly. Descalso up the middle makes the play. 2 out. We came in talking pitching, and I'm not really great with math. Joe, that's Tom. That's Harold. Let's see, 18 runs, 22 hits. The heck happened in this game?
I'll tell you what, man, it's unbelievable. We expected the pitching to be great, and really, the offense took off. I think the warm weather helped. I really do. I mean, when it's warm, offensive players want to hit.
And you think they're all stealing signs left?
Well, I definitely.
He always does that, though. He's Oliver Stone right here.
Hey,
There's a reason behind everything.
This is an Oliver Stone type of thing. The 5 for 7 with 8 RBIs with the runner at second base doesn't hurt.
He may be here right in LA. 2 out, nobody on, and Hanley Ramirez. Strike 1 on Neshek. Dodgers have made it a 2-run game on a walk to Puig, Carlos Martinez, and then Adrian Gonzalez popped the 2-run shot.
This has been fun. You know, at first we started talking about the pitching, but man, the offense really just brings everybody alive. The crowd has been crazy.
That's into left center field. Ramirez is on for the 2nd time tonight.
Carpenter down and away. Again, Hanley Ramirez. That's his happy zone. The ball away from him, drives it into the gap. Now probably the Dodgers' best clutch hitter this year, Justin Turner, gets a chance.
Batting for the pitcher, Albert.
I can't help but laugh. This is amazing. This is so much fun. You're going to turn on a baseball game, this is what you want to see.
Turner hit .340. Part of a real good bench for the Dodgers. Late swing and a miss against that funky delivery of Pat Neshek.
He's got the leg kick working, and he's got one thing on his mind. Let's put a ball in the seats.
In the hole, 0-2. Turner's been unbelievable for the Dodgers. Started games at all 4 infield positions. Mentioned hit .340. One of the highest batting averages in LA Dodger history, with 300 or more plate appearances. But backed up here at 0-2.
To Donnie when we were talking to him before the game, talking to manager Don Mattingly about using Justin Turner. Is it tempting to use him more? And his answer of why he uses him the way he was, I thought was profound. That he likes the fact he can match up lefty-righty. He feels like he's got a great advantage off the bench. Plus, he plays everywhere.
He's set up at 1-2. Neshek. Ground ball left side. Carpenter gets the out at second, and that sends this game into the 9th inning. It's a 2-run affair. 10-8. St. Louis on top. Into the 9th. Game 1. He was busy. J.P. Howell. He's the 4th pitcher of the night for the Dodgers. Elbert was the last one, and they're now the other left-hander, Howell, who deals with John Jay. Howell trying to keep it a 2-run game. In the bottom of this 9th inning, it'll be Uribe, Ellis, Ethier. Anybody gets on, D. Gordon, but don't forget about that good bench, which still includes Scott Van Slyke for the Dodgers. Here is a 1-0. That's into left field, a base hit. John Jay, who was a part of that 8-run 7th inning, is on for the 2nd straight time. After the game, don't miss Fox Sports Live, as Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton sits down with Donovan McNabb for a one-on-one interview. Fox Sports Live coming up after the game right here on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Tell you what, Joe, the left-handed hitters have done such a great job of facing the lefties tonight. Kershaw, and now you look at J.P. Howell on the mound, taking the ball the other way, back up the middle. Carpenter talked about that before the game. Matt Carpenter, that is, how it gets him locked in.
Here's Descalso, his first plate appearance. It's a sacrifice bunt. Down to second is Jay with 1 out.
And, you know, I talked about when the phone rings in the Dodger bullpen, you never know who it's for. It's a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you want to be optimistic, is to say Don Mattingly has a lot of options. The curse is that there are no certainties. This time he gave the ball to a rookie with 24 big league innings, Pedro Baez, who they thought is their version of Carlos Martinez. First batter walk, second batter home run.
That's the difference in the game. A 3-run shot off Baez by Matt Holliday. Realize that the Cardinals came into this series as Matt Carpenter steps in, runner at second, 1 out. Trying to add to the lead against Howell. Carpenter, the biggest at bat of the night to this point.
You know, Tom, you were talking about the offense in this postseason and how it's taken off. Well, you're playing a different brand of baseball. We're watching bunts. We're seeing guys get moved up. We're watching steals of bases now. And in this short capsule of time, when that one game is important as compared to 162, you see the strategy's a little bit different.
First pitch of ball. Carpenter is homered. Got a 4 RBI night. After the home run, he came up with a 2-out, 3-run double. It ended the night for Clayton Kershaw on that 8-run 7th.
Harold, this is crazy. Every year offense goes down in the postseason. This is just wild what we're seeing.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
I was getting ready to say is that the Cardinals coming into this postseason became the 5th team in National League history to go to the postseason when hitting the fewest home runs in the National League that year. They hit only 105. They've hit 3 tonight. Grichuk, the guy at the plate, Carpenter, and Matt Holliday. 2 of the 3 against Kershaw. That missed. Counts 2-0 as Brandon Lee gets loose. With Grichuk on deck.
This is a big run because you think about it, you get a runner on with the Dodger lineup coming up and a home run ties it. You get that 3rd run home, you get that 3-run lead, it changes the whole half inning for the Dodgers.
There's a strike on the outside corner. The Cardinals, meanwhile, have Trevor Rosenthal getting loose, knowing that he'll take over for Mike Matheny in the bottom of this 9th inning. After Rosenthal, they have Michael Walker. It's the only guy listed as left. They had to go beyond that to get to Lackey. For somebody in that category, Shelby Miller. Over below, 3-1.
Matt Carpenter is so hot, so locked in. I don't care if it's a lefty or righty. You're almost better off putting him on and trying to get a double play.
Rookie Grichuk on deck. That's on the inside part, strike 2.
Tell you what, he's seeing the ball great. You can see halfway the ball's just coming in. Watch how quick he gives up on this pitch. He sees it, gave up early. He knew that it's not anything I want to hit. I'm locked in, it's breaking, and he gave up on it quick. That's when you know a guy is seeing the ball real well.
And if you're Howell, if you throw the curveball 3-1, do you double up on 3-2?
As tomorrow's starter, Zach Greinke will take on Lance Lynn in game 2. Three-two. Foul.
The answer was yes.
Matt Carpenter in this game came to the plate in the 6th inning with 2 out, nobody on. With his team down 6-1 and hit a home run on the first pitch from Clayton Kershaw into right center. Made it 6-2. He didn't think much of it until he stepped to the plate with a chance to give the Cardinals the lead in the 7th inning with 2 out and the bases loaded, and he did. A 3-run double into right center field.
Blistered that ball too.
Big guy, big guy. Come on, kid. Take him away.
Got under it, skies it into center. Late break by Puig, plenty of time. 2 out. Here are the 2 big ones for Matt Carpenter. First one he didn't think much about. 6-1. Now it's 6-2. Kershaw got the next guy, but the next inning with 2 out. It was hit number 6 of a 7-hit, 8-run inning. And with that, the Cardinals regained the lead.
Well, that ball looked like off the bat it was going out of the ballpark.
The 8th pitch of the at-bat of many, the Cardinals beat Kershaw on the fastball.
League is coming in. Howell is going out. Grichuk is coming up. We're in the 9th inning of game 1. Dodger bullpen trying to keep it a 2-run game. Brandon League takes over. Runner at second with 2 out. And the batter is Grichuk. League, a former closer. Here's his year. 2.5 ERA, 63 innings pitched over 63 games.
This is where you want him to reach back and have that closer mentality. Get that 1 out and get you out of the inning.
Runner at second, 2 out. It's Jay out there, and jammed is Grichuk. Ramirez with the out. That sends game 1 into the bottom of the 9th inning. For the bottom part of the order coming up. Dodgers down by 2. Trevor Rosenthal has electric stuff. He also is anything but automatic. At 45 saves and 51 chances. The walks can pile up. He had a heavy workload. To the 5th most pitches in the National League this year. 42 walks to go along with the 45 saves. For a closer to have 40 or more saves despite having 40 or more walks.
You see Jerry Neals, the home plate umpire, go out to talk to Rosenthal. We've seen him do that on each relief pitcher coming into the game. Now, we were not told, but I'm assuming now that warnings were issued after the dust-up between Gonzalez and Molina. And that can change the way the game is pitched. We have seen very few pitches inside of the plate since then.
That is the protocol, Tom. You're absolutely right. That umpires do every inning go out and warn a new pitcher when he comes in that there has been warnings issued.
Here's your rebate. Strike 1 at 98 from Rosenthal. It blossomed last year as the late season closer. 98 again. Strike 2.
I dare you to hit it. That is reaching back and just bringing it.
For ball 1.
That ball gets on you so fast. It gets to the dirt and just explodes. That's the only way I can explain it. It's almost like it goes into warp speed.
2-2.
You have no chance if it's above the hands. Easier said than done. The hitter gets a good look at it. You've got to make him get that fastball down.
Defensive swing. Still 2-2.
And generally, a guy, when you get a hard thrower like this, a ball down, they're usually not throwing 98 when it's down. That ball's still a little bit up, but if he gets it on the knees, you really don't see it. But if it's up and in, you're not going to catch up to that.
Struck him out. 1 away.
See you later. There's that ball that's up. And to a hitter, when a ball's at your eye level like that, you just think you can catch up to it. And now all of a sudden it explodes on you. It goes to that next warp speed level, and you can't catch up to it.
Well, he's feeling it. He shook the chains to go back to that fastball. Feeling strong right now.
Now A.J. Ellis. Ellis 3 hits tonight. Pair of singles and a 2-run home run, which at the time made it 6-1. Strike 1.
I spoke with Trevor before the game, and he said the time off has revived it, and you can see it.
Cardinals had to battle as Rosenthal hits triple digits to win the Central Division, and in so doing, really worked over Rosenthal and Nisha. To the point where they came into Mike Matheny and said, hey, give us a break. There's strike 2.
Mike Matheny's got to be excited because he was talking in our meeting today. He had not seen the triple-digit pitch. 2 pitches before hit 100. He's been 98 to 100 every pitch this half inning.
Ellis fights it off. Still 1-2. Cardinals' advantage is in the bullpen. With Rosenthal nailing it down. He's matched up against a good closer. And Jansen with the Dodgers in this series. Right side, base hit. A 4-hit night for A.J. Ellis.
don't know if that was a changeup down, but he's doing him a favor.
That's the fastball at 99 down. That's where you have the chance. Ball above your hands, no chance. Ball down, got a chance and a nice piece of hitting.
So now the guy who has taken a seat to give the Dodgers outfield a chance to settle in. Andre Ethier coming to the plate in the 9th inning of Game 1 of this division series, representing the tying run. That's down the left field line. Fair! Ellis will chug to third. It's a double for Ethier.
Again, look at this pitch. Ball down. That's what you want to do with anybody that throws that hard. You couldn't have placed it better if you threw the ball. And the kick and the carom, and for Ethier to end up at second base. Great piece of hit.
He's a tying run with 1 out. And D. Gordon, who can fly, about to dig in. Puig on deck. Right side, it'll plate a run. Out at first, 2 out. And it's 10-9. A juggle by Descalso. But he got the out. The RBI for Gordon. And here we go. Yasiel Puig against Trevor Rosenthal.
Well, you knew Puig was going to be in the middle of it. Here we are. If you love baseball, we're headed to guys that are our future right here. Trevor Rosenthal, Yasiel Puig, right at the top of the level of top young players of baseball.
Tying run 90 feet away. Strike 1.
Power against power. That's what we're going to see right here.
Strike 2.
Off the hands. Gotta believe that's where he goes back.
It's kind of hard to relax when the guy's throwing 100.
Rosenthal trying to end it. Puig trying to tie it or end it. A little gimpy after that previous swing, and Puig comes out of that foul ball limping a bit.
Of lumber with that. That is getting deep in your kitchen.
Saw Yachty With a high target there. Just can't believe that Rosenthal would go to the secondary pitch, the changeup. See Yachty almost standing up right there. Might as well stay there.
But in a better spot for Puig, who fouls it back.
I still marvel at the fact these guys can hit a ball 100 miles an hour with 2 strikes. Crazy.
Tying run at third. 9th inning, 2 out. Is the final in what was supposed to be a pitcher's duel here in game 1. The save for Rosenthal. The winner is Marco Gonzalez, the rookie left-hander. Kershaw gets the loss. Kershaw, who is leading 6-1, gets the loss as that swing ends the night.
Great execution by Rosenthal. Continuing to fire 100-mile-an-hour bullets. The last one just above the hands to get it by him.
Dodgers stranded 11 runners on tonight. The Cardinals only 1. And for the Dodgers in their postseason history, all those games, the largest blown lead ever. A 5-run lead. And St. Louis takes game 1 in a 3-hour, 57-minute game. There's the final from game 1. It's Lance Lynn and Zach Greinke in game 2 on MLB Network tomorrow. Final score, 10-9. St. Louis wins it. Crazy game. A game started by Kershaw and Wainwright. Right now, we get you to our Fox Sports Live post-game show. Jay and Dan, all yours.
Joe, thank you very much. The Chevrolet Fox Sports Live post-game show has officially begun after the first day of playoff baseball on this network. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jay, that's Dan, and we'd really like this show to work.
You just saw it on Fox Sports 1 as the Dodgers and Cards had game 1 of their NLDS. How did it get to that final? Well, fantastic matchup of arms on paper between All-Star Adam Wainwright and the reigning Cy Young Award winner. He's going to win it again this season. Come on, who are we kidding? Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw and Wainwright, first time 2 20-game winners face off in the postseason since Curt Schilling and Roger Clemens in Game 7 of the 2001 World Series. Yeah, hot one at Dodger Stadium. 105 degrees, first inning. Second batter of the game, Kershaw hangs the curve, and Randall Grichuk. You just got Grichuk. Second first inning home run Kershaw's allowed this season. Cards up 1-0. Third inning, Wainwright facing Yasiel Puig. 1-1 count. Wainwright hits Puig in the back. Puig, he's not too happy about that. Heads to first. Very next batter, Adrian Gonzalez. Now, he comes to the dish. He has words for Yadi Molina. Gonzalez and Molina get into it. They have to be separated. Molina eventually needs to be restrained by Mike Matheny. Puig comes back. He has words for Molina. Eventually, Puig and Wainwright, they make up. 2 outs for Hanley Ramirez. Singles through the hole. Puig around to score. Dodgers tie the game at 1. Gonzalez, you think he's a little fired up? You think? Next batter, Carl Crawford. Down the line it goes, into the stands. That's a ground rule double. Ramirez scores. Dodgers up 2-1. Who's loving this? Magic Johnson. 5th inning. Adam Wainwright still on the hill. 1 on for Ellis.
That is hammered. Hit to left. A 3-hit night for A.J. Ellis.
Ellis' second career postseason home run. Wainwright pulled after giving up 6 earned runs on 11 hits, most hits allowed in a postseason game. 7th inning, Cards down 3, but they've got the bases loaded. John Jay shoots one through. Don Mattingly comes out for a meeting, decides to leave Kershaw in. 2 batters later, bases still loaded, this time for Matt Carpenter. And he launches it. It is deep, but it's off the wall. That clears him. Cards take a 7-6 lead. Kershaw done after allowing 8 earned runs. He allowed 8 in 5 starts in September. Pedro Baez now on the hill. Matt Holliday 2 on, ball gone. He one-armed that out. That's a 3-run shot. Holliday capping off an 8-run inning for the Cards. 9th inning, Dodgers down 10-8, runner on first, Hunter Ethier. Double to left, Dodgers down 2, and they have 2 on. Same inning. Dodgers now down a run after a D. Gordon sack. Sacrifice ground out. Tying run at third for Yasiel Puig. Trevor Rosenthal blows it by him for the final out. Cardinals hold on to win game 1 in a thrilling comeback. Again, this was supposed to be an amazing pitching matchup. Instead, there were 19 runs scored. Kershaw's never made it past the 7th inning in a postseason start. So you'd think rest would be a good thing, right? Well, not for Clayton Kershaw in the postseason. Kershaw's now just 1-3 with an ERA over 8 when he's pitching on 5 or more days rest during the regular season. His record is 46-24 with a 2.51 ERA.
Dan, I'm up here because I wanted to look taller. It's time to send it over to Kevin Burkhardt and our Fox baseball panel, who have been eating nothing but Fox cafeteria food for the past 14 hours. That salad bar over there is looking rough, guys, and so did Kershaw in the 7th.
I'll tell you what, you should have that coffee that I had. It was brewed at 5 a.m., and that's keeping me going, Jay. I got to be honest with you. We've got the Hall of Famer Frank Thomas, Gabe Kapler, C.J. Nitkowski, and here we are. What an unbelievable win for the Cardinals. 10-9, all kinds of things to get to. But before we do that, let's go right back to Dodger Stadium. Our Aaron Juice is with the hero, Matt Carpenter.
All right, well, take me back to the top of the 8th. You start seeing your lineup get to Kershaw. What were you thinking?
Man, you know, it was a lot of fun to watch our guys compete, and you know, you got to give it up to this team. And we were down to the best pitcher in baseball, possible MVP, and we kept fighting, and we found a way to scratch and get me up there with a chance to take the lead, and was able to get a big hit.
Yeah, I will correct myself. That was the 7th inning. You talk about your at-bat. You, like I said, you saw your guys starting to chip away at him. So once you do, what was the key in facing him there?
You know, I was just trying to have a good at-bat in that moment, really control my breath and just focus in on what I was trying to do and be aggressive and just try to get a good pitch to hit. He made a lot of good pitches on me. I was able to foul him off and finally get something I could put the barrel on, and was able to hit it in the gap and end up being a big play for us.
Easier said than done. Catch your breath there. We were wondering during the broadcast, the guys brought it up in the booth, were you at all thinking about Game 6 of the NLCS, your at-bat against him there?
You know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. As the at-bat was going on, I was fouling off pitches. It definitely brought back that moment. But, you know, I was still trying to stay focused in the present moment and just have a good at-bat there.
You had told us before the game, we go into this really with an advantage because people look at us as an underdog. You just beat Clayton Kershaw. Are you still an underdog? Is this a series changer?
You know, that was a big win. There's no question. But we still got a lot of work to do. We got to come out ready to go tomorrow and head back to St. Louis, hopefully up 2 games. But you know, that's a great team over there. They didn't quit either. You saw in the 9th inning they had the tying run there on the plate, the winning run at the plate. So it's going to be a dogfight. We got to keep going.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so the biggest comebacks for the Cardinals in postseason history. We saw it against the Nationals in Game 5 2 years ago, down 6. And then this has to have a special asterisk next to it. Down 5 to Clayton Kershaw at Dodger Stadium, who should be the MVP of the league this year. This was an amazing game. And that Carpenter, first of all, good for him, the honest admissions in that interview. Thinking back to last year, Gabe, you hit it. But this is Game 1 of an NLDS, so I don't want to overstate this, but this was one of the epic bats in postseason history. It really was. If it was a Game 7, it would go down with the annals. What he did, here's this game, 6-1. Carpenter hits a home run first to make it 6-2 in the 6th. So then they come the 7th inning, And all they do is put together 8 runs. But, Gabe, this is the at-bat by Carpenter. It was tremendous.
And I judge an at-bat by 2 factors, pitch recognition and swing assertiveness. Carpenter exhibited both during this at-bat. He recognized the pitches when they were out of the zone, like these 2 right here. And when the fastball was in the zone, he was taking very aggressive, assertive swings. Even on that slider right there, he really identified that pitch early. Right here, he finally gets one that he can handle. His hips fly through the zone, but this was all about the pitch recognition. He saw the fastball, he recognized it, and put as an assertive swing as possible on it.
On those swings, Frank, 6 hits in the inning off Kershaw. We just don't see that in a game, let alone in the inning. What did you like about Carpenter's swings and the aggressiveness that Gabe was talking about?
For me and that guy, he's comfortable against the toughest pitcher in baseball. Lefty-lefty matchup, and he stands in on every pitch with him. Dynamite at bat. This guy's locked in. He's really focused. He's what leading this team. And he's what's going to take these guys down the stretch.
How did they get to him, Frank? I mean, 6 hits in an inning, and they were hitting the ball hard off Kershaw here, too.
Well, to be honest, they went back to small ball. You got to play small ball sometimes. They did a great job of that. They took what the pitcher gave them. They found a way to get to Clayton Kershaw.
CJ, let me ask you this. So Harold brought up during the game an interesting point. This is not to take anything away from the at-bat from Carpenter, but he brought up the point that could there be a way that, you know, the Cardinals were seeing tip pitches, or were they stealing signs from second base, which, as we know, goes on in baseball and has forever. Not saying they were or they weren't, but if they were to do that, how do they do that, and what could they have seen here from Kershaw to help them out in that big frame?
Kevin, there's a couple of different things that happen when we see this in baseball, and you're right, it is absolutely ethical. A lot of times it's about watching a pitcher, watching his hands. As he's coming set, you look to see if he's doing anything different on certain pitches. A lot of times you go to grab your breaking ball or your changeup, and you make just the slightest move, and these guys are so keen, they're on it, they're looking for it. They realize that little bit of a difference that you make as you're coming set. Once they pick up on it, they can now put that pitch in the equation and sit on it. And it seemed like that's certainly something that could have been possible. Definitely not saying that was the case, but I don't think we've ever seen an inning where we've seen this many good swings against Clayton Kershaw that consecutively.
Bottom line is they were down 6-1. They scored 8 in the 8th, and they held on to win an incredible win. We've got plenty more from Dodger Stadium, plenty more reaction from here as the Cardinals with an unbelievable 10-9 win to overcome Kershaw in Game 1. Fox Sports Live with plenty more coming back in a minute.